What is going on, everybody? It is episode 289 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name's Brett. I'm here with my co-host for the day. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, I'm a surprise sub co-host. I don't know whose computer is talking. My name's Hannah Claire Brimlow. I'm a writer for timcast.com, and I occasionally get the opportunity to fill in for Mary Morgan. She's out today. And I guess I'll do the honors and say we have two guests for you today. One
who's very loud and letting his computer do all the work today. Oh.
I'm loud.
What is that?
It's from my other job. I'm so sorry.
This is a disaster already. I love it. I'm having so much fun. Guys, the first overt loud sound you heard was from this man right here. Introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, I'm Chris Bertman. I'm a writer for Timcast. Back by popular demand.
Yes. He's a Twitter legend.
Twitter legend, thank you.
And he's not putting his computer on mute like he's supposed to.
My computer's also a co-host, apparently?
Yes.
It's the two newsroom writers who can't get it together.
I guess,
Get it together, guys. And the other co-host we have today, introduce yourself, sir.
Hey, I'm Carter Banks. I didn't realize I was so quiet until Brett told me he had to bump my audio up, so I'll try and be more clear today.
Yes, enunciate from the...
I'll enunciate from the gullet.
How you doing?
Pretty good, man. How about you?
It's hectic. Yeah. Getting stuff together today. When you're gonna make fun of the Oscars, you have to.
Yeah, it's a big time thing.
Oh no, I'm here on Oscar Day.
Dude, you're on multiple award show topics. Like, I felt really bad, guys, because there's nothing Hannah Claire Brimlow loves more than talking about award shows. And unfortunately, today we have multiple award show topics. So I am sorry. That face you're making is understandable. I'm sorry.
You did this on purpose.
I did not do this on purpose. I am sorry.
Whatever.
So first things first, you can't win. You can't win in Hollywood. The Oscars are so male again. I remember that was a hashtag back in the day. Hashtag Oscars so male. Well, the hashtag Oscars so male again, because after 2 years in a row of women winning Best Director, they had the audacity of not nominating any women this year, to which every mainstream publication from The Hollywood Reporter to Variety decided to complain. So we're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about what I believe to be just an awful response from Warner Media in relation to the passing of pro wrestler Jay Briscoe. I know that this isn't a wrestling channel, but the way they handled this wasn't right, in my opinion, and I want to discuss this. They wouldn't let them do a tribute for him on AEW television, so we're going to discuss that. We're also going to talk about Chris Pratt, and I feel like I'm going to ruffle some feathers on this one. If you don't watch the whole segment, so please stay tuned for that. I believe that he's walking back his walk back of religion, and we'll get into it more. It relates back to his 2018 Generational Award for the MTV Movie and Television Awards, in which he talked about religion, and then also discussed it recently when he was doing promotion for Jurassic World Dominion. He had some other comments on religion that I felt kind of did himself a disservice, because he was always standing so strong by what he believed. So we'll talk about that, and we're also going to talk about the Razzies. See, Hannah, Claire, another award show.
Are you many award shows? Oh, to be fair, I think I sent you this article.
Yes, you did. So we're going to talk about the Razzies are getting razzed for having they're also own the gall of nominating a child actor for an award, which is apparently a no-go today. So before we get started, though, I normally ask everyone if they're ready to get right into it. But before we get started, I have my own cringe of the day today that I was very excited about. Are you guys ready for this?
Ready.
Yes, everyone?
Ready for our participation.
I am. All right, here we go, guys. Here is today's cringe of the day. Hold, please.
At around 6 a.m. to beat the traffic.
This is a Google employee.
Their realistic day in the life at Google Seattle. Get to the office at around 6 a.m. to beat the traffic and just get a nice workout in. At around 7 a.m. I'm getting ready at the locker room. We're getting breakfast at this really cute cafe at 8 a.m. Got some crepes, iced Americano, which is so good. And at around 8:20 I got to work. I usually get a snack at around 10 a.m. and today I forgot a charging cable, so I went to the vending machine to get one. And 11:30 is usually when I eat lunch. I got a whole hodgepodge of things, including pizza, and this is the view that I like to eat with. At 12 o'clock I get some more caffeine and just spend the afternoon doing some more work. I like to de-stress at the end of the day, and today I booked a massage appointment.
One in this building. Is anyone else seeing this?
At 5:30.
Wait.
Big life update. I got laid off yesterday.
Oh!
Nice.
Look, Google is famous for these videos of people who live the most unrealistic work lives in the history of work. Like imagine being your ancestors and looking at that day in the life where you literally just eat all day. Like, that's literally your job.
Also, no one else was there. Did anyone else see another employee that entire time?
There was no one.
And this girl's like, I got laid off. Yeah, you and everybody else, apparently.
They were avoiding her because they knew it was coming.
Oh, my gosh, that'd be worse. I want to make one of these videos for the Timcast office.
It would be amazing, right?
Get here, eat some beef jerky, say hi to Chris, someone rants about something. You know what I mean? Like, this
Mine
is
would be
too
pretty
flashy.
brutal.
What would yours be? Buy an energy drink, buy
Get
another
here.
energy drink, go straight to the office, and then not leave until it's time to go.
Yeah,
Except
I mean,
for when
Hannah Claire knows. She saw me bringing rice into my studio this morning because I don't eat outside of the studio.
He's carrying multiple boxes of rice-a-roni, and he's like, yeah, I can't. Either I eat this, I have a rice cooker, and I don't leave. Carter's like in a bomb shelter. The rest of us are like having a nice time, eating lots of vitamins.
Well, I'm having a nice I'm taking vitamins for sure.
Sorry, so you're solo.
Somebody pointed out, like in one of the comments, like on the page, so it's basically adult daycare. It kind of is. It's adult daycare for email jobs. Like the people who, and they're, to be fair, the first to be laid off.
I'm gonna level with you. These offices seem fun. Snacks, gyms, locker
Let's
rooms,
go.
like good times. I just think that like the fact that no one is there, and it turns out as we learned through Twitter layoffs, like we don't need them, should tell you something about corporate bloat.
Well, it's like because Twitter, it's like Elon Musk took that picture and it was like there was like no, like it's like 50 people and that was it. Mm-hmm. And like my favorite comment was like, it's like you can smell that photo from here because it smells like hard work. It's incredible. It's an actual geek. So yes, avoid. To be fair, she was in very good shape for someone who ate as much as she did.
Well, she also went to the gym.
Yeah,
she went to the gym first. So yes,
Are you food shaming
On
her?
the clock.
I'm yeah, it's a little bit of food shaming. All right, guys. Now that we've laughed at that, I looked for the article, guys. There was a really funny thing today where somebody threatened us with putting Mindy Kaling in charge of Rick and Morty, but I couldn't
saw something
find
about that.
I couldn't find.
Do you think she saw that announcement and was like, "Okay, here we go.
Like,
Here's my other shot."
That was my chance.
I love it. I love it. Like it was like Mindy Kaling will be put in charge of Rick and Morty now that the one guy's going to jail for.
Wait, so what happened with that?
He got was it arrested or charged with false imprisonment?
He's been charged with 2 different things stemming from like a domestic violence issue.
Yeah, like
Oh.
false
Cool guy.
imprisonment was the first one that
They
one
say
stuck
that
out to
he's
me.
gonna get, his lawyer's like, we're gonna fight all the way. He's gonna get exonerated.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And he
You
should.
know.
He should fight all the way. If it's just
Definitely
if
fight
all
all the way.
his accusations, come back with it and prove it wrong.
Innocent and proven guilty, whatever.
Absolutely.
There is a like
Right.
restraining order in place, but these things are so complicated. There's no point in making assumptions until we get some more evidence from the court.
Absolutely.
Right.
All right, guys, we're moving on and we're going to start. So, as always, whenever anything in Hollywood does not come out to be an exactly 110% 50-50 split on everything, and even, I don't even know how you do that with all of the gender identities and everything that they talk about, we found out that people are mad that they nominated nothing but men for Best Director this year at the Oscars. How do you guys feel about that?
Boys rule, girls rule.
Yeah, I know, right? Boys.
Okay, is there
Yeah.
anything in nature that like perfectly splits 50-50?
No, not at all.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think that's
Dying.
sort of ridiculous.
It says, cue the outrage
You think,
after
but-
girls
That's
snub.
not 50.
You
That's
think
100%.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
And women live longer than men.
Yes.
That's
So, like,
you know what? I was wrong on 2 different levels, probably more. So
beat
ignore
Carter
that.
up with our factual
Well,
journalism.
cut that
over
out.
here.
I wasn't thinking clearly.
All right. So basically right this year they got really mad because these were the nominations. Martin McDonagh for the Banshees of Inisherin, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. Thank you guys so much for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans, Todd Field for Tar, and Ruben Ostlund for Triangle of Sadness. I saw good reviews for Triangle of Sadness. I know a lot of people like Tar. What's interesting to me about this is that there's more than a few female leads for these movies. It's not like there's no females involved in the films. It's just that in this case, men directed these movies. But this is a society now where in 2022, Jane Campion won for Power of the Dog. And in 2021, Chloe Zhao won for Nomadland. And so for this year, those two movies had men that directed them, but women that were leading the films. What is the proper number of nominations? Are we supposed to get 2 men, 2 women, and 1 non-binary person for
also
every, or two of each?
Shouldn't we do this blind, right? Like, shouldn't we just put movies out there, not say who did anything,
Yeah.
and then see what happens? Like,
Yeah.
Right.
I would think it would be worse to be like, well, we can only pick 2 movies directed by men.
Yeah.
And so even though all 3 of these ones are better than all the other options, we're gonna cut one of them. Like, you've already kind of narrowed down the winner. The other ones are just there for like sympathy votes, which like, wouldn't you then be insulted if you were this female or non-binary director? That's like, well, we as a courtesy, we included you, right? Like you never know if that accolade is legitimate. Yeah.
So the first thing I thought of was like, okay, is there such thing as newsroom so male here? Would there be newsroom so male? Could there be too many men in the newsroom?
How many do we have?
We have mostly men right now.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, is that something that people would complain about, or do you get hired based on merit?
Chris Carr?
Yeah, of course I'm including Chris Carr and Shane. Sorry, we're working it out right now. They're both men, and they write, and they. My whole career would not exist without Chris Carr. He is the spine to what I managed to produce.
Shout out to Chris Carr. That dude is like the best editor I've ever worked with.
He's so good. He's a man and a woman at this. He counts as both.
Now that we have more people in the rotation, I would love to get Chris Carr on the show because he's great.
Yeah.
He's too busy. He's like, he came on the show early on.
That's true. Yeah. Well, but like maybe we can make it work because
a day of Chris's.
He is so smart. He knows tons about movies.
I'm so
down. But for me, like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you look at the Timcast newsroom, initially, Cassandra Fairbanks McDonald got hired to be the editor-in-chief, and then she brought me on. Yeah. And so it was an all-female newsroom for 10 whole, for like, I don't know, a couple weeks. Then Chris Carr came on, then Shane came on, and like, it just kept going from there. We have leaned male. We have had other female writers at times, but like, it's not a question of our work. The only thing that I would say is like, I maybe pick up on some stories that they're not as interested in, but I don't know that that's necessarily gendered, just so much that we're different.
Well, there's stuff that like when Mary's, when me and Mary are looking for stuff, she finds stuff that I would never come across. Like that was just, especially like anytime you guys talk about Dance Gavin Dance, it's just never coming across my table to talk about anything like this. Or how about Music Studio So Male? Is that a thing? Could you be
right now? It's 100%
it's 100% male because it's just you.
Yeah,
like that could be a thing, right? I also want to know, like, is this would it be better if it becomes like the gender pay gap where you add up all the wages at the end, and then you not accounting for job, not accounting for all of those things, but it totals up to something? What if it was like, what if the total amount of nominations added up to 50-50 split between men and women? Or does it have to be 33 between men, women, and people who identify as something other than man and woman?
Dude, there's disparities between men and women and
women.
I'm
being sarcastic as I do this.
Right,
but
it's a division that'll never work.
I'm entertaining ridiculous concepts.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So like, but it's like they continue to believe that there is some type of answer in which they're actually happy with the outcome, but they're never actually going to be happy with the outcome. Some of these posts were really funny. So Variety was the one that says the Academy Award nominations announced on Tuesday that did not include women filmmakers such as Sarah Polley for Women Talking, Gina Prince Blythewood for The Woman King, and Maria Schrader for She Said. Look,
isn't it weird that all of their titles reference the fact that they're female?
Yes.
Like, team, what's going on here?
So it's kind of like in comics where like Christopher Priest started, like he was always a great comic book writer, but then they started only giving him comics that involved black characters because he's black, because actually Hollywood and comics are full of racists, right? So it's like he's like, look, I don't want to just write black characters. I want to write all sorts of characters. I'm a creative. All you have to do is give me the time to research, look into all of this, and do my job, and I can write for anyone. It's like they're like, hey, you woman, you're a woman, right? Ovaries. You
I've got 'em.
Make the movie about the women, will you? Will you do that for me? And one of those is a Harvey Weinstein movie. That movie was never getting nominated for any best picture of any sort. And nobody saw it. Nobody went to see it.
The other question for me is like, do you go out of your way to see a movie? Yeah. Because like as a consumer, you're like, well, I've seen a lot of movies directed by men today, so I should probably see a movie directed by women. Like, does that thought cross anyone's mind? Shouldn't the awards show situation at least reflect a little bit like what the consumers are experiencing? Like, if you are making these movies for audiences, shouldn't you take in consideration that they probably don't actually care? A select few people who are driven by maybe feminism or a different political ideology might say like, I'm going out of my way to see more movies from this specific group. But for the most of people, it's like, it's a good movie and your identity is not enough to make or break it. Yeah.
Did you see that that the estate for George Orwell has approved to do a retelling of 1984 from a woman's perspective?
Oh no. Well, it'd be the same thing, wouldn't it?
And it just says, it says, behold the quintessential book on propaganda being used as propaganda.
Just stop.
Man.
Incredible,
Please.
right? Incredible. So HuffPost says, in the words of Issa Rae, who presented the Oscar nominations in 2020, the last time there was an all-male, that in 2020 when it was the last time that there was all-male group of Best Director nominees, congratulations to those men. It's exhausting this has to once again happen and somehow keeps happening. I had hoped to not have to publish this story. I had hoped to have been wrong. They're such crybabies. Like, not to mention, like, the people writing the articles, it's not like it's their fight. Like, it's not like it's the director saying this, I guess, because they don't want to get blackballed in the industry. But, like, I can't imagine living this way.
That's why I don't.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, having to worry or
Right.
think about this stuff all the time. Yeah. Also, to me, the biggest loss in all of this is they didn't make a new category for, like, best movie slap and call it the Will Smith Award.
That's genius.
That would
Yeah.
encourage
I love
more
it.
slaps, though.
Well, but in the movie, it doesn't have to be an award show slap. It just has to be a slap that happened in a movie.
Smith
Oh.
Awards.
Like the Smith Award. Yeah. Like
Right.
that's a
But
good
then
idea.
that's like making a joke out of the thing that they freaked out about for a while, right? Like we
Well,
can't
yeah,
have that.
it's also
because
saying that it was a movie.
that's
It's
true.
like, haha, this was scripted.
Guys, everyone's taking me too seriously today. My sarcasm detector is off. Like I can't say it right. I was kidding. I don't
As was
actually
I.
think they.
As was I.
All our sarcasm meters are broken. And I'm
are
still
they?
upset that they don't have, at least as far as I know, they haven't changed anything as far as not having an award for stuntmen, which is a problem to me.
Yeah,
there should be
what?
awards for stuntmen.
Well, there should be awards for a bunch of stuff because those are the things that are actually technical and interesting, right? Like I like knowing kind of like who won best costume and stuff. I don't care. It's not going to make a difference in my opinion if they win an award or not. But like, I think it would be cool if we acknowledge the fact that like, I know I quote this all the time, but Chris Pratt had some interview where they're like, you're just amazing in that movie. Great job, great job. And he's like, yeah. I stand on a perfectly marked spot that's lit by someone else and say words that someone else has told me after someone else does my makeup. But I did a great job. Like, I respect the humility in that and saying, like, there are actually tons of components that go into the movie. And while actors do work and have, talent, I'm sure, but, like, for the most part, a movie relies on everyone who you'll never see, and the award shows will never prop up.
It's the funny thing is the WWE does like their end of the year award show, right? Like they have like their own type of thing like that. And then what they invented was the Warrior Award, which was an award created originally by it was the product of the idea of the Ultimate Warrior when he came back to WWE, and then after he passed with his wife, it was supposed to be dedicated to like an MVP member of the behind the scenes staff, like the people, the editors, the sound people, the set designers. That was supposed to be the point of the award. As soon as the Warrior passed away, they turned it into like an award for like cancer. Like they turned it into like a photo op opportunity to have like a cancer patient or somebody who loved WWE so they could give that person an award, which is fine too. But couldn't you have created 2 awards to do that?
Right.
Like, because I remember the first one, it was a kid named Connor who's this like he was very young, but he died young. If I remember correctly, but he was a lifelong WWE fan. So when he passed away, they created a charity called Connor's Cure, if I remember correctly, and he became the first recipient of the Warrior Award, and it was never supposed to be that. It was supposed to be an award that brought some type of vibe for the people behind the scenes, right? Because they need their own recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
Well,
that's
why do you
important
think
too.
they did that? Like, why do you think they made the swap?
Because
Instead of making another word, they could have made one.
Because they want the Warrior's name in recognition attached to something that's more of a photo opportunity.
Did he die of cancer?
No, he did not. No, he died of I think he had an enlarged heart. He it's really funny. Not funny. It's actually really sad. Yeah. He made his first return back to WWE in years that like the night before, and then died that night after the show. Like it was really sad.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then they announced this award, and it was annoying. It was like why would you take what he wanted and turn it into something else, right? So I don't know. Like I would, I guess wanting any type of good to come out of award shows is ridiculous, considering they're not really for any actual
like anyone
person.
Watches them anymore.
I talked to like somebody said on Twitter the other day about like is Brendan Fraser being nominated for Best Actor mean that we can take that Batgirl movie out of the scrap heap and release it? I'm like, if being nominated for Best Actor meant literally anything to anyone who spent any amount of money on movie tickets, but nobody goes to movies because they've been nominated for awards.
Well, it's kind of like that the Doomsday Clock that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
There's no real legitimacy to it except that they say it's legitimate.
Yeah.
Everybody else kind of determines what you feel. What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite whatever?
Right.
You know, it's like the award show is the people that run the awards telling you what's best.
It's kind of like when you're in high school and there's like a student council that nominates the people that they want for a bunch of different school stuff.
Yeah.
Like I lost Battle of the Bands to somebody who was in a student council band because she was like sisters with the, one of the main student council tier people.
Nepotism, is that what you're saying?
I mean, yeah.
Not suspicious at all.
School nepo.
They formed the band for the battle.
But that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we know her, so we're going to give it to her.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
it's not that they
I'm agreeing
should,
with
but
Chris.
yeah, I'm agreeing with you too.
Right.
Nepotism all the way.
Goes all the way back to high school.
It's awful. So look, it's not like anybody cares about the award shows, but anytime something like this comes out, you're like, could once they just be like imagine like the vibes they could change if they were like, look, we would have loved for these ladies to be nominated for one of these awards, but these men made some great movies this year, and we hope that whoever made the best man, that was the best, like somebody made the best man win, like in one of the posts. Dallas from the Daily Wire was like, when somebody wrote the first article, it said, "This is so male." He like, let the best man win. Like, got him. But if a little bit of humility from anyone goes a long way in something like this, especially in an industry that doesn't have much of it at all.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go to super chats.
Okay, so can I read this name? Big Robert Lovebug?
You don't have to. If you feel like you need to. There's one above that from Andrew.
it Richard?
I'll read it. It says,
You read it.
2022 was the first year since 1976 I didn't see a single movie in a theater or a single Oscar-nominated movie. I regret nothing. Also, hi, Chris. Says, hi.
Shout out to Andrew Jacobs. What's up?
Yeah, dude. I don't think we watched any of the Best Picture nomination ones. Oh no, never mind. Mary saw Everything Everywhere All at Once. I missed that one.
I saw that
I
one.
saw Elvis. Wasn't that nominated?
I'm talking about Best Director, just about the
never
category
mind.
we were talking today.
You have to keep specific.
Yeah. So
I also don't think I can name an actual director. It's okay. So big,
you don't have to say the name.
whatever.
That's bad.
I think it's Bad App.
It's bad. App.
Cool guy.
Based
Bad
on stuff. Justin Rowland got too swifty. Wubba something with a fist bump emoji.
Yeah. Is his last name pronounced Roiland? The dude from Rick and Morty. Dan Harmon's just going to slowly take over Hollywood one day. He seems to be bulletproof.
Do you guys
Mindy
watch?
Kaling has some competition.
Yes.
true.
Yes. I do not watch Rick and Morty. I never thought it was
Do
all
either
that
of you
great.
guys watch it?
Which one? Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
I've had so many people recommend it.
It
to me.
never appealed to me.
Same. I'm like, you guys like it, but
I've seen episodes of it and it can be
yeah,
okay.
it's good. I mean, I'm not like a every episode cult follower of the show or anything like that.
I've
Yeah.
never given it a sincere chance. So
Right.
Fair
Okay.
disclosure.
Fair.
You know.
Bad App also says sup Vanilla Face YTs, which I think is for YouTube.
Is that
Vanilla Face.
I think he's being racist.
Excuse
here
me?
and calling
That's
us
very
white.
racist. That's very racist.
I'm the resident white brown person here.
Yes.
Okay.
A light sort of beige.
A beige.
I'm super white, so I understand. But let's see. BMFN Nate Dog says, "Ayo, I missed the last 2 weeks of PCC, but in my defense, I started playing Elden Ring."
Hell yeah.
Ah, yes.
Elden Ring.
Nice.
Finally, the suggestion goes through for someone.
What is Elden Ring?
Oh, God.
Go ahead, explain it to her.
Okay. You don't play video games at all, do you?
I have witnessed people play video games. Does that help?
Okay, Mary.
Sorry.
It's a video game. It's one of the
Token
best.
female co-hosts over here.
It's one of the best video games. There's a FromSoft, the game company. They put out a series of, they're called Souls games over like the last, 10, 11 years. Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and now Elden Ring. Tremendous.
Tremendous.
Just tremendous.
Won
Everybody
tons
says
of-
it really hard.
Won tons of awards this year.
Tons of awards, but Game of the Year, like, duh.
As if awards matter.
Okay, but do we think video
Fair point.
games awards are actually better because there's something more interacting with the consumers? Like what bothers
No.
me about Hollywood awards is like it's like a board of people that I probably don't care about and don't share values with.
Yep.
Big Dave sent a nothing. With
99
a message.
cents.
99 cents with a message.
No message. Thank you, Big Dave.
Struggling here.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, Russell Thander says, requesting for inviting Mr. Tim Pool himself for once, as he often laments about not getting much of a chance anymore to talk about movies/flicks he like he used to.
Yeah, that is. I saw somebody tagged him in a tweet the other day. Like, you could go on this one channel called Pop Culture Crisis.
Those Tacti Platty. Shout out to Tacti
yes,
Platty.
And talk about it. But you got other stuff to. It's like as we like literally hear him downstairs talking. Like maybe we could do it would be really funny to do a simulcast.
Could phone
like
him
we
in.
don't ever do like any type of Discord or Zoom ones. But we actually just have him from downstairs up here, like on screen.
He's like, I didn't know you guys wanted me on. You didn't invite me.
And there's like an
actually
echo.
be
I
really
like
cool.
the idea that you guys are like, we're really booked for a while. Like, you can't come up.
Sorry, man. Like we got a full schedule.
How's like March? No, just kidding. Nathan Claus says, I can't wait for 198 her.
1980 her. It's like 1984, but
You made that
who's
worse.
going to be the hero of
That's funny.
1984?
This should not be my job. Benjamin Ebacher says, you had an amazing Minnesota Vikings hat on the other day. Where'd you get it?
It was an eBay find. It says 1974 Vikings. I was informed by someone that they did not make hats like that in 1974. I never thought it was like from that year, but it looked like it was part of a vintage selection, and the tag was older, new era. So it had to have been from either the late 80s or early 90s at best. It makes more sense that it was from the 80s because the 90s hats were wool, but that might have just been for the fitteds.
How long have you had it for?
Very recently. It was like we talked about yesterday. I'm like, it was my Minnesota came out. I'm like, I got this vintage hat, but I got it on sale because I got it I got it cheap on eBay. I won an auction.
Yeah.
Everyone in Minnesota, whenever you own something nice, then you have to preface it by saying, but I got it on sale.
Not just Minnesota.
I didn't pay much for it at all, guys. I got it for cheap. So yeah, that hat's I
Also,
like
with
it.
like eBay, it's like winning a prize.
Yes.
Like, you're like, I found a deal and then I beat other people to it.
The other reason I like that hat is because it's actually an off-white color, and I'm very, very picky about white. Like, I very rarely wear the white hats that I own because I don't like having to spot clean them.
Right.
Okay, yes.
So
Fellow
it's-
male, I get it.
Yeah, like
Oh,
it's and I'm not a dishwasher hat person. Like I treat my hats with extreme care. Like I want them to last for a long time.
What is a dishwasher hat person?
Well, like some people wash them in the dishwasher. Some people
What?
like
I didn't even know
Personally
about
attacked
that.
right now.
they make
I didn't know that's what you meant.
What?
yeah.
Why
That's
the
what I do.
dishwasher?
The
Don't you have a
I thought that's what
washing
everybody.
machine?
Yeah.
Those are.
so
Okay,
like
I'm being
this-
ganged up on right now.
They make like these like skeletons that you put the hat around
Yeah.
and then you put it in the dishwasher. I don't do that.
They don't
Like,
make a skeleton that you can
Oh, I
try
put
on to
that
put
in
it
the washing machine once.
machine?
Oh, maybe.
I spot wash them.
I didn't know you
clean
could
them by hand.
dishwash hats.
Yeah.
Man, I'm learning so much.
Hey, why does my food taste funny right now? So what if I washed
Okay.
my hat with it?
Yeah, that's the question. Is it a solo or are there plates in there too?
Yeah.
Scratch and Jack says, I miss Mary. Can
Terrible.
Mary and Hannah be on at the same time? No offense, fellas. Trying out equity. Mary and I were on together yesterday.
Wait, we have the golden number.
Yes, three.
Whoa!
What?
Oh yeah, this is like a ratio that's important.
Hell yeah.
Right?
Three.
Can somebody explain it to me in
whose
cars?
rule
Three
is
males
this?
to one female.
What happens now? Do we
Like,
win a prize?
I don't know. The conversation's just better.
Oh,
Who was that
Yeah.
idea from?
I don't know. I think I heard it from you.
Yeah,
don't
but
remember
I heard
when.
it from
we
someone
talked
else.
about
Oh.
it recently.
Yeah. Who
but-
was
Maybe
that?
this thing isn't
Anyone.
even real.
Yeah.
Is it John JDA who was here? Was he talking
Yes,
about it?
yeah.
Oh, there you go,
and
yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're talking about like, guys, the perfect ratio in something of talking is like it's like 3 men to 1 woman in a show or a movie. Otherwise, it just gets annoying. Not my words, somebody else's words, not mine.
Let's see. RS
Doofenshmirtz?
Okay. How many award shows are there? Seems like I'm hearing about every few weeks. And who's watching them?
Look, I don't know who's watching them. That's honestly a very interesting question. But maybe bot farms in Russia and China are watching them. I don't know. But like, yeah, they had the biggest one nowadays is like it's like now they're all going gender neutral, which nobody cares about because nobody actually cares about going gender neutral. You know, it's fun for me to joke about on here. But arguably, I have more fun talking about it than I would ever actually watching them. Nobody cares about watching.
And you're hearing them about them a lot right now because it's award show season. Did you already
Yes.
say that? And I wasn't listening. I'm sorry. High Voltage 75 says nobody should care who wins and loses. Nowadays, award shows are for making fun of, not for being taken seriously.
Exactly. That's exactly
point.
right. Somebody should go to an award
there
show
sorry, keep
with like the shirt that says like, I just hope both teams have fun. Like, There's like
Everybody wins.
There's like a shirt that they sold to like women around Super Bowl season to wear to like Super Bowl parties.
It's like, who's winning the match?
Yeah.
Are you having enough snacks?
Who's winning the baseball match?
Michael Alio says, just showing appreciation. Thanks for doing what you're doing and helping my afternoon move along with some fun.
Yes.
Dude, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Although I don't work on the show really. Brett does all of the work.
One more, and then we will move on to the next topic. And guys, we're going to be capping the show at 2 hours today. I had to ask like a bunch of people to help me out today. So they've got other stuff to do. They're here on in their spare time. They're taking their lunch breaks to help me and hopefully entertain you guys. So
We're here because we love you, but also
but also we
do have to do some other
boundaries.
Caper 2X, he's the next one, right? Yep. He says, well, Mary is FBI, Brett NCIS, Chris is NSA for sure, and Carter like Salvation Army. I think HC is MI6.
You could be MI6. Frankly, I don't want to be NCIS. I don't want to be NCIS. I want to be CIA.
Why am I NSA?
Salvation Army.
What?
You're the Salvation Army.
That's what somebody said. Right? I don't even know what that means.
I heard South Asian Army, and I was like,
South Asian.
That was so disrespectful.
Salvation Army. Look, I want to be CIA. I want you to change that and make me CIA.
No, I feel like Carter's like Homeland Security. I'm gonna let him do. He's like the Department of State.
TSA.
Yeah. No. That's
TSA.
I think you're like the State Department. Chris, you could be the NSA. That seems reasonable. Or like, I don't know. I can't say. All I know is that when I followed you on Twitter, it was like my best decision of all time, and
You're
I'm
welcome.
not even sure how to use Twitter.
All right, guys, we are moving on. We're gonna hold on to the rest. I want to talk about this story with Jay Briscoe, which is very tragic, and this story kind of upset me. So. What happened is Jay Briscoe, who was a professional wrestler, he was one half of the tag team, the Briscoes, with his brother Mark. He passed away at the age of 38 just recently. He was driving with his two daughters on his way to take them to a recital, right? And what happened is another driver drifted over into their lane, basically, in the middle of the day, hit them head on. The driver of that car died on impact. He died. He was not wearing a seatbelt. She was wearing her seatbelt. They both died. The daughters were rushed to the hospital and survived, from what I know. And look, it's just one of these things where he's absolutely beloved in this industry. And I went through, and when I was doing my research, like my prep today, I went through and listened to some of the podcasts. I listen to a lot of wrestling podcasts, right? And I listened to some of them today. And the reason that they're doing this here, so what's happening is Warner Media, which owns AEW Wrestling, didn't allow AEW to run a tribute show for Jay Briscoe because he had made past tweets in 2013 saying that basically that I'm happy for you if you want to get married and you're gay, but I don't want you teaching that to my children. In 2013, he then apologized, said like, look, I was playing my character. He's a bad guy. He's what they call a heel in the business. He apologized. He bent the knee like they always do. And they still now say like they wouldn't let them do this tribute show to him on the show because of tweets that he made in 2013 because they're worried about the backlash they were going to get.
Sorry, there's something about the fact that his character is for wrestling is so developed. It has political opinions about gay marriage.
Yeah. That's how wrestlers are.
Wrestlers have very, very deep lore to their characters. Yeah. And one of the strangest things that's happened is in the mid 2000s, well, long before that, but like we're talking like the curtain call incident back at Madison Square Garden. What is called kayfabe, which is wrestlers staying in character, has basically been broken, especially with the development of the internet. But what a lot of the best and most industrious ones have done is they've learned to incorporate it into their characters. So there's a lot of like blurred lines between what is a character and what are their actual views. I still remember what we talked about it yesterday, like when pro wrestler Kane, who is now the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
He came out when Roe v. Wade got passed and said like, look, it's a great day for unborn children, and a bunch of women wrestlers got mad at him because
Is he actively wrestling while serving
not
as
anymore?
the mayor?
No, he's a legend, so that part doesn't really matter.
I mean, that's a cool connection, but it'd be even funnier if he was like, we got to reschedule that meeting. I've got to go beat up that guy.
But here's the thing. The comments are from 2013. He didn't work in AEW. He mainly worked for Ring of Honor. He worked in Japan. He worked in all of these other promotions. But Ring of Honor has large crossover. And if you can't even be forgiven for comments you made that are so tepid by comparison in 2013, what is the point of even apologizing for anything ever? Like, this is why they say never apologize. You're never actually forgiven for anything.
This is why I don't apologize.
You shouldn't apologize for anything. Yeah. And in listening to these podcasts, I listened back to the podcast from Solid Monster Sounds Off and Wrestling Soup, both who did tribute segments to this wrestler. He was absolutely beloved in the industry. The outpouring of support from his fellow wrestlers and people that worked in the industry was extensive, long felt. Like, we're talking pages and pages of messages who said nothing but nice things about this guy. He's a family man, this and that, all of these things. And none of that matters because he made a couple of tweets in 2013. What is the point of even trying anymore?
I don't know that there is. I mean, I just think you'll never be able to win them back. And let's remember that there are probably a ton of people who have said things that, the media or culture at large doesn't agree with. Yeah. But for whatever reason, we're okay with them. We honor them anyways.
This is not the Chris Benoit situation. Do you guys remember what happened with that? The WWE ran a tribute show for Chris Benoit the night after what?
Woo! Carter, have you seen this yet?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice. I don't remember it sounding that good. All this screaming and yelling.
Why do I know that movie?
Okay, guys, can they guess it? No looking at the chat. The chat knows. We've mentioned it. I've given everybody the opportunity. Can you guess it?
Is it Nightmare on Elm Street?
No, it's not a horror movie.
Hannah Claire said it to me yesterday, but I forgot.
I said it to you. I knew a movie? That's
you told
amazing.
me, and that part at the end, was it Ghostbusters or something like that?
Close. I mean, close enough.
Shoot.
Was it?
Any more
the
guesses?
dreaming part threw me off.
Brett definitely told me on air yesterday. I have no idea.
Any more guesses? There's a hint behind me.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
There you go. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's funny because you don't remember telling me and I don't remember hearing it from you. But
I remember talking to you about it.
Right, me too.
Now they're going to laugh at me because I'm going to bring up what happens. So it's the scene when April O'Neil wakes up in the turtle lair, in the turtle den, and Splinter's like staring her right in the face, and it's like the scariest thing you've ever seen because it's a giant rat like staring at you in the face, talking at you. You'd be scared too. Yeah. It's a masterpiece.
I think I just watched it like 6 months ago.
Oh, incredible. So good. But one of Elias Codius's best roles is Casey Jones in that movie. Like, to this day, like, he's the one who started Gray Sweatpants season.
What?
The channel now. The channel now. So, guys,
50% of this room is confused. The other half is giggling.
So, look.
Story of my life.
Back to the serious topic at hand. Like, look, this is not the Chris Benoit situation in which they jumped the gun and they ran the tribute show right after, and then the next day they found out what had happened.
What had happened?
Well,
don't leave me on a cliffhanger.
He was a family annihilator.
I remember this.
So that was a very big egg on the face of WWE.
Yeah, but like this is much more clear cut. We obviously know what happened. It's obviously tragic. Like, even if he said something, I mean, first off, like, I feel like he should be allowed to have whatever opinions he have. Apparently, they weren't even his opinions; they were his character's opinions, and he apologized for them. I don't know if I believe that,
but like,
that may be his biggest mistake.
I don't know either, but at least that was the presentation, right? It's not me; it's my alter ego.
That's the best getaway free card of a Twitter thing I've ever heard of.
Dude, it's funny too because wrestling has been infested with SJW nonsense for the last several years.
Really?
Oh yeah, because WWE sparked the women's revolution, which was they're very big.
WWE sparked the women's revolution?
It's literally like it's a trademark term. Like like it's
you're telling me the WWE ushered in a wave of feminism I'm not aware of.
Yes, so wave. Well, no, it is. It's like a weird wave of feminism where like women's wrestling is very big because of that stuff. But even they bend the knee to Saudi Arabia when they do shows there, right? The women all have to dress in full garb.
But the only person in Saudi Arabia bends the knee to is that soccer player.
Is Ronaldo, right? Who doesn't have to get married to come live there with Georgina. The other thing that I found was it kind of speaks to like the bubbles we live in is when we hear now died suddenly without a headline, everyone knows what comes to mind for people who work someplace like this when you hear hashtag died suddenly. Well, the first thing that a wrestling fan thinks of when they hear died suddenly is not that. They think drugs or they think bar fight or something like that. Like
okay.
the people talking about it said that their mind didn't go to vaccines, didn't go to anything other than what could have been drugs
steroid
or
use,
steroid use and something like that. And that is, for the most part, a lot less prevalent now. At least I would assume than it used to be, because like at least WWE has more stringent drug testing policies amongst their main athletes and stuff like that. But the other thing about this is Warner Media doing this. The company that's like, yeah, Ezra Miller, we love that guy. We're going to keep him around for the Flash movie. So I ask the chat, like, why is it okay for Ezra Miller to be creepy around children, rob people, and still be part of your $300 million movie franchise, but this guy who won't cost you anything to do this, because you'll get bad press on Twitter for a couple of days, and let's face it, only the most ghoulish do that. In the wake of someone's death, only the most ghoulish do that. Mm-hmm. Like, the ones who are like, when they died, they're like, yeah, that's sad and all, but didn't you ever hear this story about this awful thing he did in 1972? Like, those are the worst of the worst.
I would push back and say, like, there are times, like, I don't know if you have read any obits lately, but, like, there are times that there's someone who dies and their death is significant because they have a mixed legacy, right? Yep. And, like, marking that, the good and the bad, is reasonable, because really we should be able to reflect on people who are influential. Like, I don't know if this guy would be considered influential or just popular, but pretending that he didn't die or didn't exist at all because he said one bad thing at one time probably negates, especially for a lot of fans, everything he contributed to the programming. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But the thing is, it's a lot harder to do that with wrestling, because wrestling is full of sordid pasts and stuff like that. Like, so as an industry,
it should be industry standard.
Razor Ramon, dude.
Yeah, like and he just passed away recently, like
a couple years ago.
Yeah, well, like Kevin Nash, like we were gonna cover this, but we ended up not covering it. Where Kevin Nash, who was one of his, obviously they were part of the NWO together and the Outsiders. Like, he did a podcast recently, because Kevin Nash, his son died recently, and he has a podcast, and he's like, he lost Razor, he lost his son, and he did a podcast where he said something like, it's like, seems like a good day to eat a gun or something like that. Like,
jeez.
Like something.
Are you okay?
Like yeah, and like and the guy like on the show with him is like trying to walk it back for him on air. Like, he's like, oh, you don't mean that. He's like, I'll say whatever I want. It's my effing podcast. Like, the guy's clearly was not well, but they become so accustomed to these types of things happening there. But it's just, I hate the double standard. I hate the fact that these media companies, who he didn't even work for, prevents Tony Khan from doing a tribute to somebody that, for all intents and purposes, everyone in his industry loved. The people that don't like this don't buy your products. They don't love your merchandise. They're not the ones spending money. They're just Twitter clout chasers, and they hold so much sway. It's almost like, can you blame these morons for not exercising that type of abuse of power when you give it to them? They're nobodies who are given an unbelievable amount of social reach and power because you, a gazillion-dollar empire, bend the knee. Like, I can't even blame them for being, I can blame them for being losers, but I can't blame them for not wanting to exercise that power. They didn't earn it, but they have it anyways. So why wouldn't they misuse it? They're bad people. Like, why wouldn't I expect them to misuse it? Like, I hate it. And I hate this stuff because in a few years, nobody will be safe from something like this. Everybody will have said something that offends somebody. This is a dude who had two kids. Whole family loved him. He owned they owned a chicken farm. Like, that was their main business. Like, the number one, like, post.
Chickens are probably homophobic.
The number one post that I saw was like
competition.
The number one post that I saw was somebody saying, like, I was just about to send him a text about the price of eggs and I didn't, and it's like my biggest regret. It was like Tommy Dreamer's like, I was going to send him a message about the death of, or about the price of chickens, and I didn't, and now I regret it. So it's like, you see this, and you see all of these companies that have all of this, all of this power, and they don't actually use it to stand up to these bullies on the internet, and I hate it. So I don't know. Like, do you guys imagine that one day this will happen to you? Like,
I've actually been thinking this whole time, like, what is the most offensive thing that I've posted on Twitter? And I think it was like back in 2014, like, what is pansexual? Is that like when you're attracted to Peter Pan? I was genuinely curious.
You're like asking that question?
Yeah. And that's probably the most offensive thing I've said now in
You had a
retrospect.
question. I feel like you have to ask questions. And
You're not allowed to ask questions.
That's true.
What's
the most offensive thing you said on Twitter?
He's like, let me go back and look.
Well, okay, joke's on me, I guess, because I'm sure I said stuff on MySpace. I'm sure I said stuff on Facebook.
Don't tell them specifically where to
MySpace
find it.
is
Look
gone.
me up.
Don't
like
worry.
my goal is to get on Media Matters. Okay, that is
Let's
my
go.
goal. Let's go.
Well, you're not going to get on there now.
Now that I want it.
Right. Maybe everyone needs to
I don't know. I think you still could.
What's the most offensive thing that I can remember? I'm sure.
Well, also, how would you handle it if someone was like, hey, 5 years ago you said this thing?
Yep.
You'd be like, yes.
Yep.
That's so solid. I love that.
But it's like, do I agree with it? Not necessarily. Did I say it? Yep.
Well, at a certain point now it's like you should just double down because it's like it's not like giving them the apology for anything matters anyway.
Or do you even need to double down and just be like, yeah, I said that? Like, there have been a couple people that have said stuff that's been, offensive in some way, and they just say like, yeah, I said that at the time, and my opinion's changed on this matter, or like I was immature. Like people are like always quick to say that's a dumb excuse, but like that's the reality, right? Like,
well, it is happening.
Carter
to kids.
didn't know what pansexual was. Like,
I know.
The options
I
are
didn't.
to like not ask or to pose the question.
And it's happening to people who are legitimate kids. Like there was going to be a Spider-Man fan film that looked really, really good.
Yep.
Like they actually did like really, really good like layered rotoscope animation for like the web slinging scenes and stuff like this. And the movie had to get entirely canceled because the lead actor said some naughty words that he was not supposed to when he was like 15 on the internet. Like he said the N-word when he was like 15. He was a kid.
See, like this is the thing. Should we just propose that no children under the age of 18 are allowed on the internet at all,
at a certain
ever?
point, right?
At which point they're like,
I mean,
first off, it's completely unrealistic, but also
Yeah.
then they'd be like, well, we don't know, because they actually are companies that want to have a relationship with your teen, right? They're trying to get their data. They're trying to get sensitive information.
Yeah.
They want influence over them. Like the people who are willing to cancel you for things that you say that are bad also want unrestricted access to young people.
Yeah.
And so this is like the chokehold they have you in, right?
Yeah.
They're not willing to say like, okay, we agree. No, like we'll do our best to purge all teenage users, right?
Yeah.
Because they want access to them. But they also want to be able to destroy you for things you did when you were young and dumb.
Yeah,
pretty
or in
much.
this case, when you were playing a character on your wrestling
Everyone's
show.
just playing
Making
a
a dumb
character.
joke. But like anything that I said on Twitter, Facebook, 9 times out of 10, it was a dumb joke. And maybe it wasn't funny and I missed. I'm sorry. But the intention was to make people laugh.
The funny thing is also like when I think of Twitter, I really do think of like every conversation could just be a good-natured discussion you had around the dinner table, but it's always done in the most offensive and like you take everything personal way ever.
Yeah.
Like you can't because the body language isn't there, the eye contact isn't there. Like there's none of the actual connection that you have when you actually talk to people. So it's like I see this stuff and I just hate it because I see a guy who he was only 38 and he'd been in the industry for 20 years. Like 22 years or something like this. So all of that amounts to nothing. You don't get a tribute show from a promotion because
and the other question is like, how are his co-workers responding to this? I don't know what the term
well,
is
he said
here.
the co-workers have no problem showing love for the dude.
Right, so they're commemorating him like on their own
Yeah.
platforms. It's just the media or the company that won't do it.
That-
And that's, I mean, it's still meaningful, right?
Yeah.
Like if they were too scared to do anything about it because it might affect their career, that would be even worse.
Yeah.
At least there are some people who are like, I don't care what he said.
Back to what
a
you were
million years
saying.
ago.
Back to what you were saying about like saying something when you're 15. Like I think back to this comes up now when we talked about with Pamela Anderson yesterday or with OnlyFans people. It's like everyone thinks they're not going to regret it, and I guess liberal society has made people believe that you're not going to regret those choices when you're older, and they certainly try to push it to normalize it into older years. But Pamela Anderson to this day still regrets making that tape, even though she didn't want it to be public. A lot of these people end up regretting it because they're like, why? Like, have you ever seen that account, like women posting their L's? And it's like, why won't men date me? It's like they don't actually like, I'd like for a perfect society where this isn't going to affect you. And I guess it says something that like maybe he shouldn't have said it in 2013, but does that really matter in the grand scheme of things when something like this is so tragic? Like, is somebody going to go to a girl? Like, I'm never going to go to somebody who passes away. If a girl has an OnlyFans and she dies tragically in a car accident, You're not going to prevent her from getting some type of memorial because she did a career you didn't agree with.
Why would you bring up the OnlyFans for that? That's...
But I'm saying, I'm not using that as an excuse to not do the career. Why does one tweet or two tweets from 2013 have to be part of the endless other accomplishments, working on, Mexico, Japan, America, Canada, works on multiple continents, works for all these promotions, changed tons of lives, and 12 to 15, 160 characters on Twitter ruins that. Like, we are in a horrible timeline some days. Feels that way to me.
I gotta say, though, like, I always knew the internet was forever. Even when I was 15, I would never have said the N-word on a tweet.
And I feel like we said, we get it, but a lot of people, said, we got it, but they still posted those photos.
Okay,
Right.
But in all fairness, I think we're all relatively the same age.
Right, and I was thinking about that, too. Maybe it's like when you're, we came of age while the internet was,
we knew before, and then we knew after. Right. But in all fairness, the N-word, right? At least back in the day, I don't know about today because I'm not a kid, I'm 30. Back in the day, there was a difference between A and a hard R.
Yeah.
You were not allowed to say one.
I never would have said either one of them,
Yeah,
though.
I wouldn't have either.
All right, well, so were you in Texas?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know, maybe California is different.
Maybe? That's so weird, though.
I don't know.
They call Texas the racist place.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Okay. Biddy Beastly says, Vanilla Face is from the greatest comedy of all time, Borat. I've never seen Borat.
Really?
Oh, I've seen that.
What else haven't you seen?
That's like a whole game
Have you
show.
seen Fast and Furious?
Which one?
She's getting there.
Good Lord, Fast and Furious. That's the other thing. I didn't get to have time to watch Fast and
That's
Furious.
okay. It's only been a day. It's only been a day. Is it
I think it's thunder.
Storming outside right now?
I assume someone's skating in one of the skate parks. Hopefully,
Is
I don't
that
know.
right under us?
Usually you can't hear that
check my
all the way
phone.
upstairs.
Ethereal Menace says, hell yeah, Souls vet here. Beat every Dark Souls and Elden Ring. They're my favorite type of games. Hey, Hannah Claire, you single? Lol. I don't know, guy who they
took a
don't
hard
know
left turn?
on the internet.
I like the segue.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, Soul. Okay.
You kind of do it to surprise them into maybe an answer. I
right.
didn't see that coming. Hey, let's go.
I find it interesting that this person's like, I love this video game. And I was like, what? I don't get it.
Why didn't you direct it to me, dude?
Why doesn't everybody
To be fair,
want...
are you single? No, you married. Biddy Beastly says, take this money and do not have Tim on.
Oh man, well
A Tim-free space. I see an interesting take.
Hey, this may seem stupid, guys. Also, before we move on, I do want to say if you have not yet, guys, like this video, leave a comment on this video, join the live chat if you haven't already, subscribe, please. It helps us a lot. The channel's growing. We're getting closer and closer. It's been very fun to watch the channel grow now that we're past 50K. We're up and back on the move again. So thank you.
Congratulations for that, by the way.
But thank you. But the big thing is one of the spaces people know that this is part of Timcast, but not having Tim on is actually something that's a big deal because there's not that same level of cross promotion.
I just like the idea that these are the people who we like everything they're talking about, but we're tired of Tim.
Yeah.
No, Tim's great, but. No, you guys bring your own thing, and I think it'd be fun to have Tim on one day, but you also definitely don't need to have him on to be as good as you are.
I'm waiting for the day where there's finally a pop culture faux pas so bad that even Velma's not enough to get it so bad that he has to come on here to rant. Yeah. But maybe there will be something.
He brought up on IRL last night, we talked about that football player, and I had
DeMar
just
Hamlin.
talked about it with you guys, so I came in really hot because I had prepared my arguments, and the poor guest was like, but I think maybe it's him, and I was like, you're absolutely wrong. I
wanna somebody in the chat, Bembis, I don't know if that's it says AEW had Mike Tyson on but won't honor Briscoe. Yeah, Mike Tyson. Hey, I love Mike Tyson's.
He did wrestling.
He had the big famous thing with Stone Cold Steve Austin in the 90s where they did a cameo appearance.
That's
and
literally
then
when I watched.
They tried to
I'm sorry, but you two need to make a wrestling podcast.
I'm not even that big into wrestling though.
Yeah.
But you could be.
I could be.
Convincing Reality says Chinua Chuku, I don't know how to say his name, has already blasted Hollywood as a quote unabashed misogyny towards black women. After the film she directed, Till.
Yeah, Till. That's
didn't
what Emmett Till.
receive any Oscar nominations. Has anyone ever heard of the film?
I heard of it. I was never going to go see it. It's all of those historical picks. I don't have any interest in seeing.
Those are all the ones I want to see. Don't know if I'd heard this movie, but it doesn't mean anything if I hadn't heard of a movie because I live under a rock. I'm sorry. You guys vamp for a second. I got to find our super chats here.
I'll read Dom Tufts, and then you can skip the one after that from Bad App because he's being rude. Dom Tufts says, as a Minnesotan, everything must be on sale.
Is that a way of life?
Yes. Skull Vikings, yeah. I'm not even a Vikings fan, dude, to be completely honest. I mean, I have a Warren Moon jersey still from back in the day, and Chris Carter was big when I was a kid. But mine's like, I just like to support where I'm from. Like, I'm 5'5", dude. We don't do basketball here.
Yeah, not my
Brett likes to support where he's from. Must be nice.
Yes, yeah. Like I can actually like. Well, I mean, I know. Is Minnesota really all that different from California if we're talking about anything other than sports? Like
maybe the people are better.
Like it's really funny. Like who's the Minnesota Attorney General? Craig Ellison?
I think so.
Like in like
Keith Ellison? Is that
Keith Ellison? Like the like I remember like when they were doing like voter registration and stuff, and like a bunch of people came to my house. You know, like the bright-eyed kids, they get to come to your house and they're like, we want to talk to you about our great Attorney General. I was like, isn't that the guy who beat his wife? Ooh. To the lady, and she's like,
look, you have to ask the tough questions.
She's like, let's talk about his policies. I'm like, I got to go to work.
You're like, his policies are okay with domestic violence.
Yes,
that's probably enough for Brett.
So what you're saying is,
but that's probably the first time that kid ever heard that. Too.
I know, right?
You know,
she's like, did he? She like Googles it on her phone.
He's right.
Okay. Let's see. Evan King says Billy Crystal or Hannah Claire for Oscar host 2024.
Hey, Billy Crystal.
I would be so lost at the Oscars. First off, because I don't know anyone's name. It'd be me stumbling pronounce everything. But I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Busted Cap says, the denial arc. Now he's not a Vikings fan. I just advertised their brand. I'm not advertising the brand. Look.
It's just state pride.
It's just state pride. I wear Minnesota. I also have a hat for the Minnesota.
Sorry, I'm just pointing out that this Texan over here is grumbling to himself. State pride.
Hey, there's a stink bug on your neck, Hannah Claire.
What?
Yeah.
You got it. So somebody clip that.
You're welcome.
Clip that. Look,
I couldn't resist.
I also
I'm
have
not prepared to be here today.
It was crawling onto your shirt.
I have hats from the Minnesota Moose, which was an old IHL hockey team. The Minnesota Screaming Eagles, which isn't even a real place. It was a real college. It was the college from the show Coach. No? Nobody ever saw Coach?
Oh, yeah, Coach.
Craig T. Nelson? Yeah.
Yeah, the voice of Patrick Starr, right?
Yes.
He was on it. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
I know things.
I don't. I know nothing.
All right.
I was thinking about Patrick Starr the other day and that he lives under a rock.
Oh,
and that was kind of like a revelation to me. I almost tweeted it, but I was like, no one would care.
Joe Schmo 32 Electric Boogaloo. That is a fantastic name, sir. Says 2-hour lunch break must be nice. No, they're actually losing time. They're gonna have to work later because they're here helping me. So thank you guys. One more from Francisco Sanchez Jr. and then we will move on and we will come back after.
Do you want to read it or should I?
Brett, I'm assuming
crown emoji. Okay. Hannah Claire, it's the car, and then like the dust emoji, and then I think it's crying.
Is that?
Or is it laughing? It's so hard. It's crying.
Like snorting mad.
Oh, okay.
Like mad.
That does seem accurate. Chris is the eyes, like the ones that like look to the side, and Carter is music and a wizard.
Oh, I just thought about Chris Carter, the football player. Chris Carter. Hey.
I love sports too.
Yes.
Yes, football is awesome. I am man.
All right, guys, we're moving on. All right, before we get started on this one, I want to preface a little bit that I don't want to upset anyone. I love Chris Pratt as much as the next guy. I think he is as positive of a force in Hollywood these days as you can get. But I thought this was a very interesting, quick little article based on a recent Instagram post that he had, because I'm starting to get more in tune these days to like, there's a lot when you read as much as you do for what for this job that starts to make you feel like you're getting gaslit. And you feel like you're losing your mind a little bit. So this says Chris Pratt wouldn't change a thing. Chris Pratt wouldn't change a thing about his MTV speech on God and prayer. So what happened was a couple of years ago. I remember that. Do you remember that? Yeah, he won an award for like a generation award at the MTV Movie and Television Awards. And what happened was he gave this speech where he said like 9 rules for life, right? And most of it was about God and prayer. We actually tried to play it on here one time and we got struck with the band hammer almost came down on it. We got the copyright notice on it. So he does this great speech, and it's beautifully done. He talks about like prayer, pray. It's good for your soul. You have a powerful, you're imperfect. You have a powerful creator that made you that way. You have to be okay with being imperfect and all that stuff. And it's a great message, right? But so he says that. But then there was this from last summer, right around the time that they were making, when Jurassic World Dominion was being promoted. It says, Chris Pratt clarifies his views. I'm not a religious person. So now we get into the discussion about religion versus spirituality. Yeah, exactly. Right. So what this came across to me as was him being told by the studio, look, we're promoting this movie. It is being released in China. We need you to walk this stuff. China's not very religious, right? Like,
no, I don't think you're allowed to be.
Not Christianity, though.
Worship the state.
Right, yeah, but you can't be. Yeah.
I had the feeling when this came out that, first of all, he's been badgered for years, that he's been told, like, look, you wore a shirt with a Gadsden flag. That's bad. You believe in God. That's bad. You went to Hillsong Church, right, Anna Claire? That's bad. So, but
the Hillsong Church thing is more complicated because some people feel really strongly that Hillsong is like corrupt and like pushing. It's beyond just like people accuse them of being like homophobic, but also like it's not authentic in their doctrine is what a lot of people think.
So this,
and it's got big celebrities like Justin Bieber.
I was just going to say,
Jenners go there.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this old article mixed with the new article feels like he's walking back his walk back of religion, if that makes sense to you. So it says, this was his quote, his post from June 28th of 2022 when they were promoting the movie. This was from an interview that he had done. It says, religion has been oppressive as F for a long time, he said. I didn't know that I would kind of become this face of religion when really I'm not a religious person. I think there's a distinction between being religious, adhering to the customs created by man, oftentimes appropriating the awe reserved for who I believe is a very real God, and using it to control people, to take money from people, to abuse children, to steal land, to justify hatred, whatever it is. The evil that is in the heart of every single man is glommed on to the back of religion and come along for the ride. So I think that there's some fair points to that at the end of the statement, but I feel that he would have never felt like he had to make that statement if he wasn't bothered constantly by Hollywood telling him religion is bad. Mm-hmm. Religion is bad. So he then clarifies recently where he says in this post, throwback to that time MTV honored me with the Generation Award. I was given 3 minutes to impart wisdom to the generation. Given the chance to do it again, I wouldn't change a thing, except maybe I wouldn't try to eat popcorn backstage. So it's like, I feel like he had to walk back his walk back of being religious because Hollywood just doesn't allow you to have those views and succeed.
When you're saying he had to walk back his walk back.
No, he had to walk back the first time. Now he's walking it back because the movie promotion is done.
Right, so he's like not in a gag order type thing.
Yeah, he's not anymore. He's not being forced to do it.
Yeah.
I feel like any other religion in Hollywood, you wouldn't be forced to justify it. Mm-hmm. You're allowed to be whatever you want to be, but because he is of a certain denomination, he's then forced to justify it constantly.
Well, I also feel like they don't use the poster child for Christianity the way they use the poster child for different religions, right?
Yeah.
Like, as the poster child for Christianity, even though he didn't choose to be, anything he does is scrutinized, right? Like when he got divorced from Anna Faris, people were like, but I thought he was a Christian.
Yeah.
And like, I think I don't think that kind of pressure is necessarily fair, and especially if you feel like you are suddenly the representation of Christianity to lots of young people. Like, I wouldn't necessarily want to be under that spotlight, even if I was like, I am a Christian, but like, I don't necessarily feel like I am the one to lead lots of people, right?
Yeah.
I am full of faults. And I think that pressure, I think you're probably right, there was pressure with movies coming out in China, but on the other hand, like, if you recognize that you are maybe not in the best position to be a spiritual counselor to countless teenagers who are looking up for you or whoever, like, I can't imagine wanting to be like, I would also want to be like, well, hold on, like, I'm not necessarily religious and I have this other stuff, like, is it walking it back, or is it trying to like put a better scope on yourself after you become basically the target?
There's more
Christian criticism.
There's more of it here because he does clarify. He says, I never went to Hillsong. I've never actually been to Hillsong. I don't know anyone from that church. But there was more where he says from Men's Health. This is from the June statement now. He says, maybe it was hubris for me to stand up on that stage and say the things I said. I'm not sure I touched anybody.
I don't think that's true.
So he touched him, but not in a good way, probably.
No. I think he thinks he did touch people in a good way.
I
think
got a huge support because people were like, "Thank goodness there's someone willing to say these things." Right?
So he walks it back in the Men's Health article. He walks it back in the Vanity Fair article, and now he's saying that I'm glad I did it. Like I feel like he was forced to do it. I feel like the studio made him go on this press tour, and at the very least, what they would call in the industry, soften the language, like, oh, I don't know, like maybe this, maybe that. And it's just like, I don't see them making anyone else with any beliefs. They're not making anyone else soften their beliefs for stuff like this.
Right. It seems very strategic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think what you're saying is probably totally possible, but I also think that there are tons of religious people who don't want to become the face of their religion. Right?
And he's been unfortunately forced into that circumstance.
And it's never been a good thing, right?
No.
It's not like he's a Buddhist that Hollywood is like, so interesting, you live your life in an interesting way because you're of a religion that Western culture is not typically associated with, right? As a Christian, he has become, more of a target for being considered this alt-right pop, whatever, stuff that's probably not even true.
Is Christianity even the biggest religion in the world right now? I don't think it is.
I don't think it could be, right?
I think it's
maybe
Judeo-Christian, kind of just the collective.
Yeah. It's just, it bothers me because I see so many people get away with saying all the things they want to say, and that's fine. But why do you have to justify your beliefs for something like this? Just like, why does Jay Briscoe have to apologize 5,000 times for a comment he made 10 years ago? Why does this guy have to become the face of something that he never asked to be the face of? Because weirdos on Twitter won't leave him alone, and they never leave him alone.
Because he was open about it, right? They're punishing him for being open about who he is.
But at the same time, whenever they do these these award shows, they're always like, they always thank God in their speech. Like you're allowed to thank God in your speech, but you're not allowed to actually be religious, right? Mm-hmm. Like I don't get it, and it feels like part of me. My initial thought was that it was like the constant prodding from people was just like he reacted badly. But the more I look at it, it felt like, look, you got a movie coming out. Can you soften the language? Can you change it a little bit? And then you can walk it back later and do whatever you want to do.
No.
Does that feel like something that would be plausible in an industry that big with that much money on the line? And Jurassic World was one of the 3, I believe, top grossing movies of all last year. Like I could see that. Look, financially speaking, I guess I can't blame the studio for wanting that if they need to make as much money as possible.
PR.
But at the same time,
I guess because I haven't looked at it enough, I don't see the exact timeline correlation that you're seeing. It doesn't mean it's not possible, and I think studios ask actors to walk back all the time.
Or just meet them halfway.
The Generational Award was in 2018. Mm-hmm. The Men's Health article and the Vanity Fair things were this past year. Right around the time that he was releasing Jurassic. Every time these actors have a new movie coming out, they get magazine covers, they get all this promotion. So we're talking 2022. Mm-hmm. By this time, there's already been a bunch of press in those previous years.
But he's disassociated from Hillsong. He has gone back and forth on what he's doing.
But I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the
4 years since that speech was made.
But I'm talking about the specific quote to Men's Health where he says, look, maybe it was hubris of me to think I touched anyone. Maybe I shouldn't have done it. It feels like he's walking it back.
Sure, but I'm not sure what that has to do with a release in China.
Because the movie was coming out right at that time. So those are coming out at a time when you want absolute best press possible for your movie to all audiences.
Yeah, it's not as strong as I've seen other things, but it's totally possible, right? Yeah. Anything is. For me, this definitely comes across more as someone who is trying to evade being the token Christian actor.
Well, then that's what I say. He's walking, but now he's saying now I wouldn't change the things. It's like he's walking back the walk back. And I'm not saying I'm not saying that he's a bad person for doing that. I'm just saying I remember I got a couple of messages. I don't remember who it was, but they were they were bummed when he made those comments because in the past he was always so good about just not taking the bait. He never takes the bait on Twitter. He never takes the bait on Instagram. He does not get in useless fights with people on social media. So then to release it in a public way on through an interview felt weird and forced to me.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm seeing something that isn't there. And I love Chris Pratt. That does not mean that I don't love him as an actor or as a person. He seems like a family person. I love that part about him, but it's hard. The people that fall in line are never forced to justify themselves so much. They're not held to the same standard. If anything, I'm defending him that he shouldn't be forced to be held to this ridiculous standard that no one else is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a case where you just should stop explaining yourself. Right?
Do we know if he's being forced though?
That's what I was wondering.
I'm saying, like, if not being forced, why address it at all
I don't know.
in the interview?
Maybe they asked him.
Yeah, that's why he comes up with like he must feel a lot of pressure for being the token Christian.
Woo! Woo! Thank you. That's what I'm talking.
Now I get it. I hear it.
I had no idea this would be paired with what I sent you.
My
So
favorite
funny.
part of my job now is making just terrifying sounds for people to be forced to sat through in this show.
Yeah,
Has
I mean,
anybody- has
they
anybody
all
been
scare
afraid?
me.
Has anybody what?
Been afraid of it?
No, but it scares the crap out of you when you first hear it the very first time, right?
When I came out of the studio yesterday, Carter was like, I was like, oh yeah, you're in the Crisis Party sound, and he was like, oh yeah, which one? And then I had to like try and reenact or describe it. It was very hard.
You did it though.
You're in this?
I
They
sent
figured-
Brett
no,
like
no, it's
8
Carter's
ones.
voice.
The crisis
Yeah.
party.
Crisis party.
I think
That's
that one.
cool.
I think that one might become like a mainstay, like where
I can do more.
Crisis party mixed with whatever horrifying
fun
movie
music.
clip I want to play.
Oh,
Also,
good.
chat guys, either on Twitter. Send me clips to anything that you think would fit well for a crisis party sound effect. That's at Brett Dasovic on Twitter.
Or make requests of what you want Carter to do.
Yeah, I can do that
let's
too.
give Carter
make requests
more
for
work.
Carter. So, all right.
Talking
Look,
to
guys,
nonsense
I'm
every day.
not saying there was anything there. I'm just saying that was like it felt weird.
It
that he
definitely
had to-
feels like there's some inconsistency,
Yes.
and it's
Right.
interesting to wonder why.
All right, let's go to super chats.
Okay, Benjamin Ebacher says, if women can wear a headband in high-end restaurants, can a bald man wear one for appearances? Like
I'll take
a
this one.
headband?
Yes.
Do explain.
Oh, I don't have an explanation.
He's just said yes, just blanket yes.
I could take this one.
Carter's the
I
authority
got
on men's
this one,
fashion.
guys.
Waffle Sensei says, a wise man says, forgiveness is divine, but never pay the full price for a late pizza.
Yes, that is very, very true. As at the very beginning of. Here's the funny thing about
Teenage
that.
Mutant-
Yes, Teenage Mutant
okay,
Ninja Turtles. The best thing about that movie, guys, is that movie is sponsored by Pizza Hut and is one of the greatest Pizza Hut ads ever made in the history of home video with the kids playing baseball. I can still sing that song word
Do
for
it right
word.
now.
I'm
How's
not
it go?
doing it, but it's like
How do you think Pizza Hut and Domino's Papa John's were all bidding on this? Like,
no. So
movie?
here's the thing. So that movie has this great Pizza Hut ad at the beginning of the movie. Movie sponsored by Pizza Hut. The pizza delivered at the beginning of the movie is from Domino's.
Wow.
Yeah, I
That was
associate,
Someone got fired.
That would never happen these days.
Maybe they were killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
They took money from both sides.
Yeah.
They're like, we want the pizza.
look at
But
you, Gail.
So, like,
imagine
anyone
like,
but Papa John's.
But
Keep
like
them
also
out
like
of
they
here.
did the same thing with the remake movie where they get like a corporate chain to sponsor it. Like imagine like what they should have done is like what's the big one in New York? Ray's?
Joe's, right?
Ray's?
I don't know.
Guys, what's the big pizza one in New York with all the
Halal
chains?
corner store?
I was
like
gonna say, like, is there a chain? Or
Yeah,
is it
I
just,
don't
like,
know.
well, it's like
$5
four.
pizza from New York?
It's like a bunch of different ones that all have like fairly similar names. And it's like
I
they
mean-
should have all pooled their money together to make it to pay the money to have their
See-
chain featured in the movie since
I
New York
want
is
like
such a big part of
some
it.
Chicago deep dish pizza place to then outbid them all, and all of a sudden these New York turtles are eating Chicago deep dish pizza, and they're saying stuff like, "Wow, this is way better."
Yeah, Giordano's.
You should make that a thing.
Okay, I'll devote my Twitter account to it. Benjamin Ebacher says, "Oh, what Ninja Turtles movie is the best?"
The 1990 one, by far and away,
Yeah.
above and beyond all of them.
How many have there been? Have you guys seen them?
Are you talking about the first well, I guess 4 because the 4th one was technically part of it, right?
Which
The cartoon.
the 2007 one.
TMNT from 06, 07?
2007.
Yeah.
I a lot of people love that one. I just the animated stuff. I didn't even really like the cartoon that much.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even like the cartoon. I know that's a hot take.
No, 'cause you said cartoon. I remember they were on an episode of Power Rangers back in the day.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
The 1990 movie.
There's a crossover,
it
a
gets-
Power Rangers Ninja Turtle crossover.
Right?
Power
How
Rangers
did I forget?
was live action, wasn't it? How did they do that?
It's
Wait,
Ray's.
great point.
Yeah, they're finally catching. Yeah, it's Ray's Pizzeria. Look, the 1991 is the best one, hands down. There is no debate. It's actually one of those things where it's misremembered in history, where it's falsely claimed that Secret of the Ooze is the better movie. It's not. It's that is blasphemy. It's
a Mandela effect.
It's not even a blend. It's just a dumb effect. It's just people like in the when the first movie came out. It was so violent. It had so much violence that like the parents associations, the same people who complained about Harry Potter being black magic and stuff like, promoting magic.
I missed them.
We're the same. I know, right?
Where
We missed
are
those.
you?
We missed those Christian moralists. We're the same people that were like, this movie's too violent. And then so in the second movie, they used literally anything but their weapons. So like Michelangelo's fighting with like cold cuts. Like sausages rather than nunchucks, and like he uses like a yo-yo to knock people out. It's stupid, and
Give kids the wrong impression. Like, oh, I can do this.
But the one upside to the second one is it does have Kino, who then didn't. Kino was kind of the best part of the second one, where he has that great joke at the beginning where he's going out to deliver a pizza, and he's like, "Hello, ladies. Which one of you lucky ladies is gonna take a ride with me tonight?" And they're like, "Dream on, dweeb." He's like, "Yeah, okay. But when I do, I'll dream of something a little thinner." It's, man, great times. Great times.
The Last of My Kind says, it's called a hat block, and dishwasher doesn't have a tumble/spin that could mess up the hat. Y'all could make a hat club fear of a black hat style wise.
I mean, I would prefer to just, I just spot wash mine, like with a
Tide pen.
Yeah.
What about if it gets sweaty?
I literally go with a cloth inside
Really?
the brim. Yeah, I just do that myself. It takes longer, but I don't like the hats that I wear skating. Like just get ruined and then tossed.
That's why I wear headbands, man.
It's a fashion choice,
the skating hats are different, and no black hat skating because they just get disgusting really fast and have like the sweat stains out over them. So you have to wash them constantly.
So
I
you're a
actually have
headband.
different headbands for working out and for wearing to work.
Yeah.
I have stuff like that, but it's for sweatshirts. Like I have sweatshirts that I wear at
Oh,
home.
yeah?
I have sweatshirts I wear out. Like sweatshirts when you're like doing workouts versus sweatshirts that you're like painting your house in.
Wait,
like,
what?
I have a really extensive. I love sweatshirts. I would wear them all the
That's more
time.
expensive.
Also, hot take.
No one needed to know
hoodies-
that, but I'm telling you anyways.
Hot take that regular hoodies are better than zip hoodies.
Low key.
I don't think so.
Low key.
Always.
Yeah.
Look, you
Yeah.
need a
Fit
mix.
You
better.
gotta mess up
Fit
your
better.
hair if you want to take it off and stuff, and all the static and stuff.
You just have more hair than other people.
That's
I can agree that like hooded sweatshirts versus crew neck sweatshirts.
What if you're like
I
sitting
love
in a
hooded
plane
sweatshirts.
seat though? You
Right.
can't just take it off without elbowing somebody.
That's true. And like hooded sweatshirts, if you have long hair, you can get like all tangled. Whereas
Right.
crew neck sweatshirts, you don't have that. Like there's
Wait.
more sweatshirts better. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Rob says Hannah is hot, and I will tell Hannah as soon as I see her.
We don't know who Hannah is. We've never met Hannah.
I'm such a jerk.
Ominous.
Evan King says, would Andy Kaufman be able to exist in 2023?
Probably not. That's a very good question. I mean, even like I need to rewatch the one with Jerry Lawler and Jim Carrey.
99. Man on the Moon.
Man on the Moon. I need to rewatch that.
What do you think? Would he be able to exist?
I've actually never seen the movie,
It's.
but probably not.
I mean, most of those people from that, like, it still amazes me that WWE still brings back Hulk Hogan, even though Hulk Hogan has just said so many awful things in his lifetime.
Yeah, he's so cool.
And he's
But I think that's the response, right? He does something, but he's such an institution in and of himself. So they're like, well,
he's also become like great for memes because anything that involves the word brother, you
Hell
can turn
yeah,
into
brother.
a Hulk Hogan meme. It's there's a great one that says like, look at this great photo from the 90s, no cell phones, no internet, just two guys saying hell yeah and brother, and it's Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage sitting there. Like it's like a really weird picture where they're just like hanging out looking bored by the ring. Great times.
Ray Gatan says, did someone say Elden Ring?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Carter, have you played Elden Ring?
No.
Me and Carter, hold
the
on.
face he made was so
I mean-
judgmental.
Also, no explanation.
He didn't
No.
just say no. He goes, no.
Personally offended.
What do I do to do it? Like I have to
Use
do I
your
have to-
fingers.
No, is it a video game that I have to
video.
go buy, or do I have to download? Is it a?
Oh, you
a
can
little
steal
website?
it. I wouldn't recommend it.
Sorry.
I'm so out of the loop with games these days.
Sometimes I think Carter is the same person. This is like someone trying to tell me, like, you should watch the show. I'm like, how do I find it?
There's so many streaming platforms, right?
Yo,
I know it, Carter.
Were you born today?
The Edge says, "Yo, just subbed." Assuming he meant that for us. Thank you, my friend.
The thing is, if I was born today, I would know about the streaming platforms. Like, I was born in Amish country in the Dark Ages. Yeah, really. I don't know. Carter, name 3 different types of video game consoles.
Well, I mean, I can name PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and GameCube from back in the day.
GameCube is a classic. Right. I don't understand why we don't.
I had Sega Genesis. I used to play video games when I was a kid, but I don't anymore.
Love Sega Genesis to this day. Love 16-bit.
Oh yeah.
When the video game channel finally launches, I want them to do a thing where they like play old games.
I would love to play
things.
Streets. I would love to play Streets of Rage on like on an old platform here or any of the old Sega or like I wasn't an NES guy. I was a regular Nintendo
Fed,
and then a Sega guy, and then a Nintendo 64 guy. So like I skipped the NES. Like I couldn't afford both. There's no way I was getting both an NES and a Sega Genesis. So
man, I remember getting Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
For Sega Genesis, I still remember a song melody that I heard from that.
Inspired your music career.
Maybe,
dude, those songs slap.
Yeah. Well, also like let's face it. The only thing better than the old Surge commercials that I always talk about here with all of the dudes who look like they just got out of rehab, like Gen Xers who just got out of rehab for the first time, like chasing after a Surge is the old Sega commercials where it just goes, Sega!
Yeah.
Yeah?
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last of My Kind says, only pop culture thing Tim said was praising Sonic. I assume you mean he's praising the restaurant Sonic.
No, he does talk about
Sonic.
Sonic.
I'm just kidding.
The movie? The Sonic movie or the game?
I don't know.
Just blocked.
Look, me and Mary talked about like that Sonic the movie is like the sequel was really good.
Sonic was the one that like responded to the fans. They like put out the scary Sonic.
Fans bullied them into making it better.
Yep.
I always liked Knuckles better.
Yep.
Is he in the
and Wade Q is
Not
right.
sure.
Methadone chic. That's what you
Carter,
call
it. Are you participating in the chat right
I'm
now?
trying. It's unresponsive for me, so. But yes,
funny.
I am participating in the chat.
Let's do a couple more, and then we will move on.
Okay, X says, how much more do you need to reach solvency?
We're getting there, guys. Like, look, as the channel grows, I mean, I don't have the exact numbers.
So what are you going to
here.
do? You get solvency, you're going to just, like, ship off?
Yeah, like,
we'll never see you again?
I'm out of here, guys. Like, look, it's
you pack up our entire studio.
One thing about this show that I've considered part of my job is like I'm trying to we're working together to build this show, and you guys, the ones who are in the chat every day, the people who participate, the ones who watch not just the live but check out the videos or listen to the podcasts, all contribute to that. So thank you so much, guys. But we're getting there. We're getting there closer every day.
Somebody that I know actually told me on the phone they had this recommended to them on YouTube the other day.
That's good. Well, that's
like, wow.
Hell yeah, brother.
Happening.
Hell yeah, brother.
Like the I think because we worked through the holidays, recommendations have gone up because there was a lot of people not making content at that time.
Right.
Also, we've worked so there's also clips coming out on the weekends now.
Right.
So if you keep having content come out and you don't have days where there's just nothing coming out, you eventually hit more. You get to the recommended feature more. Like
some recent media company debate might have proven.
I
won't reference it, but there are benefits to being with a company where, especially if you're already an established brand, there's some security. But in this case, like you guys remember, pop culture, although it is within Timcast Media, really does function like a hustle that Brett and Mary are starting up.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to see how much they grow.
The biggest, when Tim mentions it on the show, that's the biggest, the closest you get to a big brand recognition mention to it, right? Mm-hmm. But it's in general, it's a lot of hustle.
But it's also cool because that means that the people who are here are dedicated to what you guys made, and I think that's an awesome.
I give them crap all the time because I'm like, our chat is so much better than.
You, so
but I'm saying,
I think you give the chat.
No,
crap.
I don't give the. I give
you too.
I give the chat mad props all the time because I'm like, look, I would put our chat up against the IRL chat any day of the week. We are far less toxic.
Oh, right.
But also, did you guys see the Babylon Bee thing about the surprise phone call between Crowder and Jeremy Boring?
Oh,
where it's he's like, we'll get you $70 million, but you got to get a Daily Wire tramp stamp. It was incredible. He's like, Candace Owens got one. Even Ben Shapiro got one. He's like, what about Andrew Klavan? He's like, who the hell's Andrew Klavan? Incredible. Let's do one more.
Okay. Let's see. I don't remember what I was reading. Danny said Carter gives Christian Slater vibes.
That's a compliment. Christian Slater.
Dude,
Have you heard that
I dig
before?
it.
I'm getting Ye vibes with the coat, and he's just sitting there with the headphones on.
Ye Slater. I'm watching the stink.
Who
bug,
is Ye though?
Coming closer and up, landed on Brett.
Let's read the next one.
Yeah. John S says PCC greater than Timcast IRL.
Of course.
Did you pay him to say that?
I did. Thank you. That
comes
money
out of
will
your
be
marketing budget.
That comes out of the marketing budget, guys. We're moving on, guys. We're gonna have one more fun. We got a fun one today for our final main topic of the discussion. I want to do this one quick because I want to get through all the super chats before we go, because we got to cap the show at 2 hours today. Razzie Awards face sharp criticism for nominating child star, and they're saying that it's repulsive, and they're saying that it's wrong. That's a problem, guys. So the actress's name.
Oh my gosh! Did you see the update on this article?
No.
Okay, you tell the story, and then I want to read the update.
All right, so her name's Ryan Kira Armstrong. She's 12 years old. She was in American Horror Story, and she was in Firestarter, which, Stephen King alone already is a miss for me these days, guys, because Stephen King's kind of a nut job.
Right.
But this is one of those things where they're saying that you can't do it. Oh, you just go ahead and read it. Go ahead.
Okay,
and read
so
it.
the Razzies are they give out awards to people who are bad at stuff.
Yes.
And she had been nominated for what? Oscars.
Oh my God, they bent the freaking knee.
Yeah. Wait, what did you say what she was nominated for originally?
Yes, for worst actress or worst supporting actress or whatever.
Okay, so this update says, in response to the outcry, the Golden Raspberries Foundation has removed 12-year-old Ryan Kira Armstrong from the ballot. In a statement, the Razzies co-founder John Wilson issued an apology and called the criticism valid, saying the backlash brought our attention to how insensitive we've been in this instance. As a result, we've removed Armstrong's name from the final ballot that our members will cast next month. We also believe a public apology is owed to Ms. Armstrong and wish to say we regret any hurt she experienced as a result of this.
Do we even need to say anything about
She
that?
should hop on Twitter right now.
Do we
and say a
even
bunch of
need
bad
to say
stuff.
anything other than this is the funny thing is the first thing I thought of was Greta Thunberg.
Okay,
Oh
to be
my
fair,
God.
is there any validity in this? Like, she is 12. Does she get
No,
included in this?
She's
no.
12. That's it. She's
You
12.
no.
Wait,
Look,
what are you saying?
you get paid the money. You join the industry. You get to be criticized just like everybody else.
I think he's being sarcastic right now.
No, I'm not.
Oh,
I'm
never
not.
mind.
Wait,
No.
yes, so a debate. You think that, like, they're kind of in the right for taking
It's
her
the
off?
Razzies. This isn't.
Shh. You think that they're kind of in the right for getting to take it off?
No.
Taking her off? You think they should have taken her off?
She's 12.
Keep going.
That's my argument. She's 12. Are you going to really hold a kid responsible for what they say? What happened?
I mean,
Do you know what the Razzies are? It's just they're saying she didn't do well in
but
the movie.
she didn't submit herself to the Razzies.
Yeah.
I'm of two minds about this. Like, I get what Brett is saying, but like, she is a literal child, and although she is in the industry, she is a minor, so her parents are managing all the stuff. The Razzies decided to nominate her for worst, because they nominate everyone for like worst picture, worst whatever, worst everything. Like, do you think that she should have been precluded this because she's so young?
You know what? No, because maybe
There's
in the
a
moment
stink
she
bug in
might.
your-
Stop! Where? I'm not even afraid of them. It's just like, I don't like not knowing
I
where
won't
they are.
tell anyone anymore if you don't want me to.
No, I wanna
Figured
know.
you'd want to.
Okay, keep going. This is a chaos segment anyways.
Yeah. So, okay. Maybe in the moment it looks bad, but, when this kid's.
Is she gonna just never be criticized for the rest of her life ever?
It's a legitimate conversation, right? Like, I don't think... Sorry, you keep going. I keep trying to make Chris talk and then talking over him.
Well, okay, so, like, when the kids our age or older, they're going to look back and be like, man, that was kind of cool.
That they were nominated for, like...
Yeah.
Because,
Like,
like...
it's a talking
Yeah, what
point.
if she wants the Razzie Award?
This is the same thing that happens every. This is why everyone hates Hollywood because they take themselves too seriously. They think they're above criticism. They have no concept of the idea that normal people don't get to live in a world where they're free from criticism all the time. Why? Because she's a girl? Because she's 12 years old?
Because she's 12.
Because
That's
she's
their
12 years
thing.
old. Okay, fine. Then how about this? Would they do a kids Razzies where they just nominate kids for
Oh my
That's
gosh,
called-
what if their update had been like, you're right, we'll take her off this ballot because we started one where we just talked about children.
No,
I
look,
mean-
I give this example all the time. This is why the concept of mean tweets on late night television used to work and no longer does. Because when they used to do it, it would be some celebrity reading something from some commoner putting them down, and then they would make a sad face, and everybody laughs because you, the commoner, get to laugh at the rich person who's getting dressed down by some normal person. Everyone gets to cheer for that, right? Yeah. Now, they're so sensitive. They're so above reproach. They are so much better than you and me that even the concept of nominating someone, it's the same thing when they talk about Greta Thunberg, where she gets to spout climate change nonsense or whatever. Okay, climate change talking points, whatever. I don't want to talk about the climate change. And then they get to say, when you say you're wrong, they say, you can't say that. You can't say that. She's a child.
Yeah.
You enter the arena. You are fair for criticism. And this isn't even mean-spirited criticism. This is their own industry heads making a joke about a bad performance.
Is it their industry?
Right.
Yeah.
No, it's like a random group that made it.
It's called like the Razzies are called like the ugly stepsister of the
They called
of the
themselves
Oscars.
that, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's not like formally affiliated with anything. It's
but
just
there
people
have
who wanted to
been
criticize.
actors that have picked up their awards
Sure.
at the Razzies, and that's how you win over hearts and minds of
Selena Gomez
actual
did that,
people.
right?
It would be way more based and way more badass if this girl won it and then went and picked up the award.
Right.
Like her mom brings her to the award show and she picks up the award.
That would be huge.
You get to make the money. You get to enter the industry. You get all the fame and the context, but you get not even the slightest bit of pushback. I'm not saying that you treat her horribly, but you understand that actions, that when you enter this industry, there will be good and there will be bad, right?
Yeah, what if she wanted the Razzie?
Yeah. What if she?
And they took it away from her.
And also that apology is so. It's insensitive. So is it only insensitive because she's a minor?
I feel like okay.
It's insensitive to all of them.
I feel like this organization either needs to stand by what it does or it needs to stop doing whatever.
Right,
it's
you
doing,
can't
right?
be nominated for something good or bad if you're a
can't-
child.
Right,
then.
and like I'm sure there are tons of people who are nominated for this who are offended and they don't want to be, and fair, whatever, it's their opinion. But like you nominated her. Either stand by it or don't, right?
Also,
like,
there's
Right.
probably
now
more
does
competition for this because kids can't act.
Sure, but also like now, does any what about a 15-year-old? Is it inappropriate to nominate a 15-year-old for this?
Yeah,
like,
where's the line?
Where's the line? And also, like, why do you get to take some people off and not others?
It would be super based if they just give like an 8-year-old who just has never acted before, gets one role, and they're like, "You're the worst."
Or they just say her parents reached out to us and said they didn't want her to be Raz.
Look, I know that somebody says tell them that Greta Thunberg is 18 already. I know that, but those comments have been going on for far longer than before she was an adult. Did you see that creepy
She'll always be a
Did you
kid.
see that creepy picture of her from Davos with like the wine cup, with like the wine glass, and it says the last thing you see before you're hunted down by a rich person on a private island?
Yeah.
Like this makes no sense whatsoever. If you either stand by the principles of your organization or you don't. You don't get to have it both ways. And the groveling apology is so unbecoming.
They retracted.
So predictable,
who
too.
did they retract last year?
Who
was
it?
it?
Was it Elliot Page for something?
No, it was someone who is sick. Someone who's.
Oh, Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
They took Bruce Willis off last year because he had his own award. He had the Bruce Willis Award. And they got rid of it because he's been known to make a ton of like the low budget action movies. So he got his own.
You mean the good ones?
Yes, basically.
Die
Yeah,
Hard?
the stuff people. No. Not like we're talking like he makes a ton of those ones that have. They all have like the same Photoshop director.
Yeah.
They all those types of like low budget movies that like they look like they were made by the same person. Look, it makes this is bonkers. I'm sorry. I almost can't put into words how annoying this is.
Really, I don't think it's like that annoying. It's just like. It's a funny concept, and I do think it's worth considering. Like, should we have these, like, what are the boundaries with child actors and stuff like that? Like, I get that they are in the industry, right? But, how much do you consent to be in the industry when you're 12?
We wish to say we regret any hurt she may have experienced because our fake award show gave her a fake nomination for something that doesn't mean. Look, then we also have to live by the principle that if regular
It's not really a
award,
fake award show. Like, it has been around for so long that it is a legitimate thing that people ask about.
okay, then let me rephrase. We have to say no. If nobody cares about regular award shows, nobody cares about the Razzies. I actually made the argument recently. I said they need to lean into this. Like in an age where everyone hates celebrities, celebrities should like look to better their image by going to these and like making themselves out to be men and women of the people.
And some of them do. I think Selena Gomez famously was like, "Yeah, cool. I'll leave this award show and come pick up my Razzie."
Sandra Bullock, and I forget, was it?
Oh my God!
Was it Jada Pinkett Smith, or who was the other one who picked up
Bradley Cooper.
Who was it in Catwoman? Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh,
right?
that's a long time ago.
Picked it up there. I don't see the problem with this. This is not. This is just. I don't see it.
I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about it personally. But I do think that they need to pick a lane. Either you're in and you're doing this. This is your thing. You're the mean award show, and you make fun of people for being bad at stuff.
Yeah.
Also,
you know what I mean? Or you're not, and you should reconsider, because again, this is now going to be oh, well, this person. Oh, well, this person. Oh,
right.
Well,
they
this
just set
Halle
a precedent
Berry, thank
that
you, Rhaegar Targaryen.
why are they nominating this kid and not taking them down? What makes this other one special? And it's
I think it's worth considering.
They nominate all the Stranger Kids thing. Stranger Things kids.
I don't know.
Look, it's just it's not fair. It's also let's face it, the feedback and what you're going to hear from casting directors is way worse than what you're going to get because you gave a bad performance once.
And
are they supposed to also tune out every review of any person that ever decided to say something negative? Is she going to never go on the internet and never look at any memes that are made about her?
Dude, how about all the stuff she's going to hear on the playground?
Yeah.
Kids say the worst things.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it works both ways. If you can't be nominated for a Razzie for worst award because you're so young,
should you be
nominated for a good one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can't be eligible all around.
Yes, Busta Cap, I did say Stranger Kids things.
Stranger Kids things.
Just because I host a podcast doesn't mean I know how to talk. Am I right?
I mean, I didn't even hear it that way. I heard what you were trying to say. So.
Your brain reorganized it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a fair, somebody says, it's nice to see that someone in Hollywood has boundaries regarding children.
That's my thing. I could get that, actually.
Does Hollywood really have room to complain?
Yeah. But, I think it's fair. If we're saying you can't be criticized at all when you're young, maybe you shouldn't have the pressure of being potentially nominated for these big, high-profile awards, yeah?
Yeah.
If it's bad for kids to hear negative criticism, I can't imagine what the pressure is to be at a young age scrutinized even for positive praise.
A big part of the problem in our society is that we shelter everyone from the criticism. You can mute the words, the things that you don't like on Twitter. You don't get people say mean things about us all the time in the comments on here. You have to learn to either ignore it, not read it, or just move past it.
Can I say
Lean into it.
Yeah. Versus I embrace it.
Yeah. Bring it on.
No, okay. My biggest regret is after Kanye was on the show and Mary and I went up to fill in. Someone I know screenshotted it and someone had been who is this girl? And it was a picture of me gesticulating wildly that night. And someone else responded to be yeah, but can I be honest? I really hate her voice. And all I wanted to do was find that tweet and respond, I know, me too. Because I personally, it's not my best feature, right? I couldn't call home as a kid because I was our family voicemail thing. And if I heard it, I would cringe so badly.
Oh yeah, whenever Mary is up here either clipping something for the next day's social media or Dane's working on it, if I hear my voice, I go and make him put headphones on. Because I hate the sound of my own voice.
It's super common,
The one thing that there was one day where I was really sick and my voice was really hoarse. I'm I sound cool there. Yeah, let's deeper voice, right? So it's look, and this is no ill will towards this girl. We don't even know what her reaction would be. For all we know, she would have leaned into it and been okay with it. But I don't think you do her any good or you do anyone any good by just sheltering them from any of the criticism when they've joined an industry that's so front facing.
Hey, she could still challenge this and be they took this away from me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be funny?
Yes,
if she's
it would be, and I hope she's listening right now. Probably isn't.
Or probably not her. Probably her PR agent.
Yeah. They should. They could still do it.
Yeah. Look, I just if I understand not wanting to not liking the criticism, but this doesn't feel the same as it's almost worse to have a million people on the internet telling you you're bad.
Well, okay, for me it's if you're saying it's inappropriate for this very negative based thing to attack a young child because she is 12.
They're not attacking her. They're nominating her for
harassing her or making fun of her or whatever, bullying her.
Yeah.
It should go both ways, right? Either kids are open to child actors are open to both the negative and positive awards, or we don't have either.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you can be like, they can only be praised.
You can there's like an opt-out option. Like, okay, I can't win a good award, but then I won't have to be nominated for a bad award too. So, also somebody says, embrace your voice. In the chat says, embrace your voice. You just got to listen to it till you're okay with it.
That's true.
You just got to listen to it till it's okay to listen to it.
I just go through phases. Like, sometimes when I'm really excited, I get very fast and high pitched, and it's not great sounding. I'm gonna admit it.
One of the greatest pieces of advice I ever got was I had to take a language class in high school because of being deaf in one ear, so like a speech therapy type class, and she said to one of the kids, said like, you can't laugh. The one thing you can't make fun of is someone's laugh, because it's like the one thing about a person they can't control. Like, you can't control how you laugh. Like, it's just it's what it is.
You can, but it's not genuine.
I'm sorry, we can make fun of 12-year-olds, but we can't make fun of people's laughs, Brett. I'm confused what
I'm fine with making fun of people's laughs too.
Wait, do they nominate somebody else now?
Yeah,
they give a Razzie to somebody else.
They nominate
every other child actor is looking around.
They nominate a 13-year-old.
Oh my god!
And then they're going to be like second Razzie.
Because it's actually just like general, like, it's worst supporting actress, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yep. All right. Let's go to super chats. We got 20 minutes.
Okay.
See if we can get through them.
Bobcat says, HC. Do you mind sliding on the screen, Brett?
Yes.
I thought of an easier series for you since you seem to prefer books to movies. The Deckard novels.
The Deckard novels.
Deckard novels by Jack Murphy. No, not that Jack Murphy.
Not that Jack Murphy.
I'll write it down. I'm curious.
All right.
Let's see.
Bro Cody.
Says, Hannah, have you...
Who's Hannah?
I don't know. Have you seen Resident Evil? It's about a virus escaping from a lab, and pharmaceutical companies and the government work together to cover it up.
Yep.
Fiction, obviously.
Why aren't they directing these to me?
Yeah, right.
Chris likes movie recommendations.
Come on. I love Resident Evil.
Yeah, and I have never seen a movie, as we've established.
Also, if anybody here hasn't seen The Last Ship, The Last Ship was a TNT show about a virus escaping, and yes, it's got the excellent Adam Baldwin.
The greater of the brothers?
He's not a brother. He's not related to the Baldwins.
Really?
No, he's not related.
Just has the
He's
last
just a
name.
Baldwin.
Rhaegar Targaryen says,
Benjamin Ebacher.
What?
Above that.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Minnesota is much better than California. The north of Minnesota is all wilderness, hunting and fishing and exploring.
My goal is to one day retire in Medford, Minnesota. That is not northern Minnesota. I think that's southern Minnesota. But yeah, that's on my. I don't have any other plans. It's like there's like a vague endpoint, and then just blank in between there. Maybe get married, maybe have kids, maybe do this.
Yeah,
but
I was
like
thinking about that too.
Whatever happens, we end here.
Texas, California, you want to challenge him about how great Minnesota is?
He's the only one that could be proud.
I mean, no. I don't want to challenge. Not a challenging mood right now. You can have Minnesota, Brett.
Thank you.
Okay, this is Rhaegar Targaryen.
Yeah.
Okay. If thou art maidenless, thou must seek a maiden. Praise the Elden Lord. Hail, Hannah Claire, will you be my maiden? I like Fast and the Furious and video games.
They did it again.
You want to be someone's maiden?
No.
I don't think they're understanding. I don't really like Fast and the Furious, and I don't play video games.
But I do. So
Brett
it's
will
fantastic.
be your maiden.
Yeah, I'll be the maiden.
Let's see. Sorry, I'm scrolling carefully because every time I try to move this thing, it freaks out.
From Biddy Beasley.
Biddy Beasley says, IDK if Christianity is outlawed in China, but they're worried about the spread of it. Weird. Who were the fellows that financed the CCP again?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. Yeah, well, communism typically doesn't support any religion.
I'm pretty sure it's illegal to be religious.
Yeah,
that's why they went after the
Uyghurs?
Falun Gong, too.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I'm scrolling here. Grizzly Nightmare 80 says, why does Eliza Blue have beefs with the quartering? I don't know, and I'm not a part of it.
I'm so glad I'm not a part of it. Like literally, like when everyone's talking about that, I'm like, yeah, don't care.
Yeah, no thanks.
Not my business.
None for me.
No thanks, none for me.
Let's see. Irtrez00 says Doomsday Clock gets moved to 90 seconds to midnight. The same month Velma came out. Coincidence? I think not.
That's a fair argument.
And
right
they
there.
count like disinformation in it.
Yeah,
like,
I mean that is a that is a fine argument. There's nothing wrong with that, guys.
Or Chris Carter, are either one of you watching Velma?
No.
No, why would I do that?
I don't know. People want to know what's going on with the kids, I guess.
What's-
Whatever Mindy Kaling's up to.
What's happened with
midlife
me
crisis?
is what I've realized is that everybody wants the hyperbole. So like, I hate Velma, but like by the second set of episodes, I was like a prisoner of war, and I'm just like detached mentally. I'm like, yeah, it's really bad. But then like we're watching The Last of Us, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I like it. I'm like, it's a little slow for me, but like it's good. It's just good. But everyone's like, why don't like somebody's like, why does everybody on the right wing want this show to fail? I'm like, I've literally seen not a single person say that, but okay.
I don't want it to fail.
Yeah.
Also, like, I feel like people on the right would be like, if it's going to fail, we want it to do it naturally, which it probably could.
No, it's doing well. Like
doing
The
well.
Last of Us is doing well.
Tremendous.
I thought we were talking about Velma. I'm not listening, obviously.
Velma will fail.
Dumbledore says the pizza was from different shops in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Wow. Wasn't a mistake. They were being inclusive in a way our modern audiences couldn't imagine. That is all.
122 and an 8. 122 and an 8. Terrific. Where the hell is 122 and an 8?
I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what's happening either.
Carter, my twin.
Sorry, guys.
It's when he's got the address to their, like, they literally have a pizza delivered to their sewer lair.
Yeah.
And the address they give him is 122 and an 8. And he's like looking around. He's like, where the hell is 122 and an 8?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, you're standing on it, dude.
Can you
'Cause
recite
it's a
this
sewer
whole
cat.
He's like, I got to get a new route. I thought I delivered everywhere.
Yeah.
Wayward Soul says when Ralph takes on the Foot Clan alone was lit AF.
Yeah, Raph, not Ralph.
Raph?
I think he'd be mad
Oh,
if you called
Raphael.
him. Yeah, Raphael. Yeah, that whole scene is incredible. That's the movie that made me realize that Leonardo wasn't the coolest of the turtles.
Who is the coolest of the turtles?
Raphael. He's got emotional depth.
What about you?
I like the rat.
Oh yeah.
Splinter. Yeah, that's fair enough.
What are the other ones' names? Raphael, Leonardo.
Donatello.
Michelangelo.
Is Donatello one that's always eating pizza?
They're all always eating
Michelangelo.
pizza.
One is like
Michelangelo.
Which one's the
He's
blue-
kind of like the
which one's
comedic
the
relief.
He's a
blue
party
one?
dude.
Leonardo.
And which one's the purple
I
one?
thought they were all green.
No, but they
They've
wear
got bandanas.
Oh.
Yeah. Michelangelo's orange. Donatello's purple.
Donatello. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Donatello.
I don't have an opinion on this to declare on the internet.
Let's keep going.
Not Alan Rogers says, I'll show up at the cast castle with a rock steady costume and we'll see which movie is better, Brett.
Look, as long as you're not Tokar and Razor from the sequel, like, that's fine. That was horrible.
Bad App says, shoot a hoot. I don't know what that means.
Heard, Bad App.
Short Bus Bully says, I play right field. It's important to know. Gotta know how to catch. Gotta know how to throw. That's why I play right field, way out where the dandelions grow.
This
is a song I
That's
don't
the
know.
song. That is the song from the movie, from the Pizza Hut ad at the beginning of the movie.
Oh,
It's
Oh,
incredible.
wow.
I didn't know the turtles were into baseball.
It's incredible.
Cody McNutt says, Garrett from Community says, crisis alert.
That's okay. I can put that one down. That's a good.
Do you have a list going?
I send it if you're on Twitter, or somebody send it to me on Twitter.
Let's see.
High voltage 75.
High Voltage 75 says, I want PCC to grow, but I don't want the chat to become IRL. But I guess it's inevitable, so I'll enjoy it while it lasts. Well, you guys will have been here
That's a good
first. That's
point.
pretty cool.
Yeah, like I want the chat to stay cordial and like everyone, like half the time they're having their own conversations and like I'll mention the chat and they're like, why are you talking to us? Leave us alone.
They're like, please
They're
leave.
just
This
here
is
to
our-
hang out. Like we're if anything, we're background noise to them.
Let's see. 1,000 Foot Deep End says, as a woman from Texas, where temperatures fluctuate throughout the day, zip up hoodies don't mess up your hair when you have to start removing the layers.
Yeah, this is true.
Can you tell us more about Texas?
Yeah, I mean, also, if you happen to be like, I don't know, for some reason carrying a shoulder holster, it's easier to.
Oh,
you
wow.
know,
We're bringing a real
zip
Texas
over it.
argument in.
And if you open your mouth and it's windy in a sandstorm, you can chip your teeth.
Yeehaw, they say.
Caper2X says, Leroy Jenkins made it to SA Dasovic.
I do need to make a sound effect with Leroy Jenkins at some point. I will do that for someone. I'll get to that eventually, guys.
Last of My Kind says, they don't realize normal people can take a joke.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing. Like, she's 12. You're removing the opportunity for her to grow.
Right.
Like, if anything, this could be a growing experience for her to be like, look, we know that, like, you're not going to always turn in your best performance. Sometimes it's not even the actor's fault. Sometimes, a lot of times, it's a director's fault. It's the editor's fault. Like it takes a lot of people to make someone look good, like Chris Pratt says, and it takes a lot of people to make someone look bad. Mm-hmm. So,
this is kind of like the equivalent of a participation trophy.
I mean, to be fair, you're being recognized for being in a movie. There are tons of child actors who'd love to be the worst supporting actors in a major movie.
Yeah, it's better than not being. It's better than being extra or something like that.
Yeah. Caper2X says, I have a problem, Brett. You don't criticize a 12-year-old starting her career. You're supposed to encourage them at this stage and not sour them about it.
She's been in other things, and I'm sure she's gotten plenty of support in those other roles. I don't think that just because you're 12 means that you're above all criticism. And being nominated for an award, it's not like they were giving her biting comments that were saying, look, you're a horrible actor. We're saying you didn't do good in this role. So I disagree on this one, I guess.
Right, because it's a job. If you don't do good in a job, then
don't have 12-year-olds. Then don't have 12-year-olds act.
Well, and like you'd hope that she has enough support around her that's like, look, you have to learn to take these things with grace and let them go.
Look, maybe I'm the bad guy.
It's not like she was in a school play and they're like, you did so bad in this play.
The Razzies are actually scouring the country for the worst child actors.
Then that would be messed up.
Look, maybe I'm the bad guy here, but like that's fine.
I think it's complicated because people don't want to feel like they're just like randomly attacking children. But I do get that she's in a professional capacity.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not saying be absolutely horrible to her. I'm saying that she's nominated for an award that plenty of adults get nominated for, just like she would be allowed to be nominated for the Good Award if she was nominated for that.
This is progressive.
So, yes.
Alejandro Reyes says, my, quote, voice is just my internal monologue. I don't really pay attention to the out loud one.
Crisis Party!
That'd be funny if I did all the screaming, too.
That would be funny.
Another thing about it is like I grew up like in skating. You grew up on message boards, right? And if you posted edits to these message boards and they weren't good, like the stuff people said about you was like abhorrent, and you had to develop a thick skin about it.
Dude, I've got YouTube videos out there with the meanest shit from like 10 years ago. Someone's like, this person should never make music.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going because we got to get through all these because Hannah Claire has to go soon.
Alejandro Reyes says, I don't know Headband Guy's name, but he is so cool from the little I've seen of him from Timcast clips. Headbasket
guy.
I can't matter. Headband Guy is Carter Banks, and he does all the music at Timcast.
This is true. Thanks, Alejandro.
You can only title?
My specific title is in charge of all the music. That's all I got. That's all my job description was given to me, and I've just kind of made that a thing.
When you're that cool, you don't have to say much. You just get to sit around and look cool because your job is cool.
I've also been very in the chat too.
Yep.
So I actually answered his question in the chat.
Well, I liked it. You were in the music video and someone was like, who is that guy? And everyone else was like, he is in Cast. He's Carter. Like, people know.
Yeah, I stay in the background to where I get pulled out. It's cool.
High Voltage 75 says, Chris, what RE game? Question mark.
Resident Evil.
Oh, man. I feel like RE4 is too easy. I'm waiting for the remake of RE4 to come out. That's going to be awesome. Honestly, Village was pretty good, but RE2 remake was probably like just solid.
Also, one of the most iconic covers, the Resident Evil 2 cover.
Oh yeah. Of course.
Yep.
Potatoes for Seamus says, howdy all, especially Carter. Love the headband. Potato, potato, potato.
Thank you. Potatoes for Seamus.
Potato.
How many headbands do you have?
Well, they fluctuate in number because I have to throw some away.
Oh, really?
Some get turned into, like, repurposed into rags to, like, clean up the floor and stuff.
My dad would, because, like, people in the chat always make fun of me because my shirts are always, like, loose at the neck. I used to cut the necks out of my shirt, and my dad, because there's, like, a hemline there, right? My dad would make them into bandanas.
Ooh, good idea.
My dad was, like, the most industrious. Like, you have your team picture when you play hockey. All of them have hockey stick frames. He made the
cool.
frames out of hockey
Every time
sticks.
you talk about your sports dad, I think it's so cute. Brett's dad was like getting up to coach hockey. It's like probably like all families there are complications, right? But like he's like, yeah, my grandpa like made me this replica car that I could drive around when I was little. Like, I want to move to Minnesota and find this kind of lifestyle.
It's proof that you can screw up your own life even with a great childhood, ladies and gentlemen. But you can get back on track. You can get back on track. I am living proof.
When you're a hockey dad, are you going to do that? Are you going to turn your kids' hockey sticks into frames?
He would also like put like the stickers from my skate sponsors like on his truck and stuff like that. I'm like,
that's awesome.
Like I just.
It's so cute.
That's cool.
All the men in this room, I expect this from you and your dads in whatever capacity it is. If you want to turn your kids' Resident Evil video games into picture frames, that's fine.
All right, we got a couple more.
Halls and the Kid says, she actually got me with this one. Hello, fellow human coworkers. Happy Thursday.
Hello.
I read this and then immediately checked my phone to see what day it was.
She sent me a message very late.
It's Wednesday.
Like very late the other night, where she's like, I need to. It's like there's a guest coming on IRL. Can you go and look in the studio to see if his picture's down there? Like she's like, I don't know if I've drawn him yet.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
It's like I will go look.
Alejandro Reyes says, speaking of Resident Evil, how much zombie killing is too much? Morally, I mean. Killing a zombie kids or younger kids is fine. Dead Space as well.
Yeah, but can you criticize? Is there like a Razzie for zombies? Can you criticize zombies? I don't even know.
I don't know either.
Can zombie kids be criticized? Hey, how about that? Maybe they should have a worst zombie award. Like, have you ever seen Bad Zombie Walking? Yeah. If you ever want to see a great video, watch the video of the zombie auditions for Walking Dead. It's so creepy looking. Yeah. All right, there's a couple more.
Rhaegar Targaryen says, I knew I could count on you, Brett. You don't have a maidenly voice, but I'll take what I can get in 2023. Also, everyone needs to leave Chris Pratt alone. He seems like a genuine good dude.
I did my best to like preface that by saying, look, I think Chris Pratt is a great dude. I had questions about like the back and forth of all the religious language. So
yeah, I mean, we can always analyze what's going on with someone. That doesn't seem unreasonable.
Yep.
Let's see. Rhaegar Targaryen says, hail headband guy with the rock on symbol, maybe. Caper2X says, Brett, you will make an awesome dad one day.
Well, thank you.
True. I'm sure you all will.
Let's one day, perhaps.
Let's see. Alejandro Reyes says, can we hold everyone hostage again today? I tried really hard yesterday. You can just sit in silence and stare at the cameras if you want.
Yeah.
The thing is, I'll just start working, and then no one will be reading the super chats.
Yes.
I mean, I don't really think this is like
that's
work.
Fine.
But
well, we've gotten through them all, guys. Guys, before we go, thank everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. Please like this video, leave a comment on this video, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. I have closed the poll. And it comes clean with, I put the poll today was, what matters the most to you when you see a movie? I asked either, is it the movie is good or the director has the right gender? Believe it or not, the movie is good is the most important one by 91%.
That's crazy.
With a total of 719 votes. 91% say that, believe it or not, the movie has to be good. That's what matters to them, guys. Isn't that shocking? Not shocking?
I voted twice on the other option.
So you were those few votes?
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. Guys, before we go, Chris, let everyone know where they can find you.
You can find me yelling at people on Twitter at Man of Bert. Same thing as Instagram, Man of Bert. Shout out to Timcast News. You can read my articles. You can read Hannah Claire's articles and the rest of the newsroom. And that's it.
All right. Carter, where can they find you?
You can find me everywhere at Carter Banks, except for Instagram, where there's a 4L attached. Still trying to get the Carter Banks. Also, Carter Banks on YouTube. Follow YouTube or Timcast Music and Trash House Records for upcoming music stuff. And yeah.
All right. Perfect, man. Cool. And Hannah Claire, where can they find you?
You can find me every day on timcast.com. Click on the read tab. I second Chris Bertman. You should check us out on Twitter, Timcast News. And you definitely should follow Timcast Music and Trash House Records. That's cool stuff. This is like the worst announcer voice of all time. I'm sorry.
No, it's great.
My Instagram is hannahclaire.b if you want to follow me there. If you want to see my Twitter account, it's HCBrimolo, and that's all. I think I'm on IRL again tonight, so if you want to hear my voice, it will be there.
Also, I noticed that there was no shout out for Pop Culture Crisis appearance last night on IRL. That made somebody sent that to me. Like she didn't say that she was on the show
normally
yesterday.
I do it if I'm on so I can be like, come tomorrow and join us.
Yes.
I just didn't realize I would be on today. No one knew we'd be on today.
Perfect. All right, guys, again, thank you so much for joining us today. It is a pleasure each and every day to do the show for you. If you would like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Brett Dasovic for both. The show is here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. But if you would prefer to listen rather than watch, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify, wherever fine podcasts are sold. If you'd like to follow the show on social media, Twitter at PopCulture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys. Later.
Bye.